facing on Saturday decides to leave you at the proverbial altar at the 11th hour, you proclaim the rivalry back on. A lot of stuff that needs to be backed up coming up on Saturday. Cannot make this just another one of those situations where you were right there, but you couldn't take advantage of it because you couldn't close, or you couldn't do it against a team that is equal to or greater than you. I mean, you could not ask for more. You got this thing flexed. Jim Irsay has been all about the primetime games, the lack of primetime home games. Thing got flexed into primetime in your building on a Saturday night. I mean, who knows what's going to happen with the game before you? I mean, the entire team has COVID right now, and who knows? Quarterback, head coach. I mean, this is going to be eyeballs on you. Prove it. Seems like teams around here are always in prove it mode. But in this case, you kind of put yourself in the prove it mode. So prove it. You've changed. You're better. You're healthy. Smart. Accurate. Saturday is a big one, to say the least. Now, not as big as we decided yesterday. Not larger than that first-time Manning return. But, man, there's a lot going on Saturday. I mean, think about, as Ben Brown told us yesterday from PFF, how much easier that you will breathe if they were to cash that thing in. And you're not waiting for other stuff to happen. You're not saying, hey, what's going to happen on Christmas Day in the desert? And I hate to bring this up. The only reason I do bring it up is because it's happened before. You know, that Jaguar trip up. I mean, with the way things are going right now and what is a huge mess, a shout out to the Cons. The Cons got the wrestling portion of it right so far. That thing's making a ton of money and doing well. That thing is challenging. They probably wanted that to challenge and then their football team to be a lot better too, but they got one of the two right so far. Tony Khan, the son of the owner, got the wrestling part. At least that's what I don't watch it, but everybody always says, well, this is really good compared to the WWE. Fantastic. They got that part right. But again, Jacksonville's always been that trip up. And the Colts in the past have not really embraced and or taken advantage of those situations that we would presume to be really good. A lot to prove coming up on Saturday, and we got a lot to talk about. Bottom of the hour, the voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor, is going to join us. Yesterday, you got some really good information from Ben Brown of PFF as far as a lot of things are concerned with New England. You know, their offense on the ground, their offensive line, their rookie quarterback, things that you can do against them defensively. Defensively, are they going to be able to take away Jonathan Taylor? I think everybody presumes that. I mean, if not, what is the focus? Because I know most people out there would suggest, this is a great question for Rick Venturi. That's why Rick needs to call in right now if he's like riding his motorcycle or something. This is like a motorcycle day for Rick. All right, if not taking away 28, what might Bill Belichick be thinking about? What does he want to take away, if not the Colts running back? I mean, is he going to leave it on the shoulders of the quarterback? I mean, we've seen that line that gets a little bit squirrely. I mean, you got to pass it around. This is certainly a passing era, but this team, when you mix it up right, has been so much better when you're able to do that, i.e. when you're very efficient in running the football. So, yeah, Rick, if you're out and about on your hog right now, give me a ring and you can tell me. Tell me exactly outside of 2-8 what they may or what you think they could be taking away outside of the running game. I think everybody's on the same page with that going in. So with that, if you like it, 239-1070. Email address at JMV at 1070thefan.com. Looks like the the relative health is still good. Yeah, you guys are asking me this. Does it concern you that a lot of the league is being affected by COVID. Yeah, because it seems like that it's the most prevalent topic really in both that we're talking about right now. Whether we're talking about the NFL or the NBA, it is by far the most prevalent. Just keep dodging it. I mean, really, everybody keep dodging it, not just the Colts. I'm talking about a universal standpoint here. Just keep dodging it. Just keep dodging it. I'm going to knock on wood because I think I've dodged it. I don't know. I go all the way back to when I turned 50 and almost 2 years ago to the date. I go to New Orleans. It was really the worst Colts game I had seen in a long time. Remember that Monday nighter when Drew Brees was playing with a Nerf football out there against this Colts defense? And he was just clowning on everybody. I'm going to drop this Nerf football in here and there and touchdown records and consecutive passes complete, all that crap. Well, I mean, and the game was terrible, but, it's New Orleans, and I had a great time down there. I thought, I'm just hungover? Why do I feel this bad? Because I was struggling through this show and then struggling into the Colts pregame show. So, yeah, I don't think I did. I've never tested positive for it. I've always tested negative. And I am vaccinated up like crazy. I've always lived by this philosophy. You know how much worse I probably put in my body by now? Can you imagine? Like, I'm going to be worried about this? Wait a minute. I got kidney stones by the time I was 15 from drinking like 8 Big Reds a day. I'm sure those Big Red guys, I'm talking about Big Red, the soft drink. You think those guys in Waco, Texas are sitting over the product or the lab coat saying, well, wait a minute, we think this is going to be okay for everybody out there. Go ahead and send it out. We got to make sure this is healthy for everybody. No, seriously, that's probably the least of my concerns right now. No, just keep dodging it if you have. Keep dodging it. Stay healthy. And then once we say that and we make this a little bit more universal, right? And then we can say how much you want to keep you as a fan of your favorite football team or basketball team also healthy. But man, a lot of both leagues are struggling big time right now. And I'm sure that's something we'll drop into conversationally at some point a little bit later on. Matt Taylor, as I mentioned, bottom of the hour. Christopher Price, he's a Boston Globe writer. He hosts the Patriots Report podcast. You're going to join us at 4? I mean, this is an interesting year for the Patriots because a year ago, like Tom Brady moved on. Tom Brady moved on and proved to everybody that, well, Tom Brady's just a great quarterback because of the system. Then he went someplace else and said, yeah, screw you. I'm just a great quarterback because I'm a great quarterback. Now, I'm probably putting some weird things in my body too, much like you are, John, but I'm a great quarterback because I'm a great quarterback. Now, you kind of flip this a little bit, don't you? You flip this because now it's like New England and Bill Belichick, which they're not going to tell you, and I'm not going to psychoanalyze anybody by their words from that team because they all are programmed to say the same damn thing. This is what you do. You get in there and you're programmed. That's part of why they're always on the same page and always pushing the same direction in every single coaching cliche that makes you want to vomit on a daily basis. That's what they do. But it's amazing. Now it's their year. It's their year because now you're going to prove, hey, look what we can do without the quarterback. Last year was, the system needed the quarterback. Now the system is winning with a rookie quarterback. I mean, let's face it, the rest of the NFL could not let this happen. You don't want this type of justice, do you? Like, you're ever playing basketball, right, and you get somebody in there in his jean shorts that's coming up underneath you, or somebody calls a foul, or say you have a pickup game, somebody's going to call an offensive foul, and then you argue for a second and whatever, and then the shot is missed. And it's the same thing as when Rasheed Wallace used to say, ball don't lie. We would always say justice. Justice. You would say justice. Yeah, the rest of the NFL, you don't need this type of justice. I mean, you need to have this proven wrong. You got a winning streak right now where everybody is on board, and the AFC is up and down like a Kings Island roller coaster. Remember how fun it was to ride the Beast back in the day? They've probably gone through 25 different generations of roller coasters by now, but man, riding the Beast was the big deal back in the day. That's what the AFC's been like this year. It's like riding the Beast, riding a roller coaster. Seems like almost every team has had their opportunity at being talked up as the best, being, as I mentioned the past week, the flavor of the week. Be nice for the Colts, for you Colts fans out there, if they're able to be the flavor of the week. And beating New England, setting yourself up for the postseason, I mean, even without reaching a goal of winning the division, which sucks, especially considering what you have done to yourself prior to put yourself in this situation, it is still amazing that they're going to be able to, or at least in the position to accomplish what few have prior, given a similar situation. Man, all that rides coming up on Saturday night. We got you covered here. Christopher Price of the Boston Globe, top of the 4 o'clock hour. Kevin Bowen from the Kevin and Query Morning Show, 7 until 10 a.m., Monday through Friday, that weekday mornings right here on The Fan. He joins us coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. And Bob Kravitz is going to join us at 4:30. About this time last week, maybe a little bit earlier than this time last week. But Bob came on the show and was talking about an article he had written. And he had written an article about the Pacers finally being good to go on a rebuild. And remember, I described it, I used my own words here, I called it a half-ass rebuild. And not because, well, maybe, but not specifically because they're half-assing doing it, which means they're not doing it right. You know, not like, picking in the teens for so many years and sending Goga to Fort Wayne and TJ Leaf to the YMCA or wherever. Getting it right with Duarte, certainly. But no, not half-assing it or missing the mark like that, but just not going the full direction where everybody thinks they're gonna. That's something we tried to talk about last week. I mean, everybody, oh, man, as soon as you see rebuild, those out there that want to see this thing dynamited, blown up, everybody got thrilled about it. And believe me, that's the prevailing opinion. I mean, everybody was happy with that. And really nobody said anything other than Shams and Bob coming out with, sourcing for their particular columns and or tweets or reports. I mean, nobody really had to say anything. And you know what? You guys were okay with it. You guys were okay with it. Then Miles comes out, and you can take this for what it's worth. And I've told you this before. Miles comes out, I think maybe a day or so after with the not being utilized enough. I'm paraphrasing here, with an Athletic article written by Jared Weiss. And some will tell you that the reason why that Bob and the reason why that Shams got that information prior to is to beat that particular article to the punch. To save face. Again, you didn't need to. It was all good. It was all good. It would not have mattered. A majority of those folks thought that change in some capacity was going to be necessary. So there was really no need to try to cover any tracks or make yourself look good in the court of public opinion, because two things were going on. Two things were going on that was in the favor of the Pacers, and I'm talking about the Pacers organizationally. You know what those two things are? Most people were cool with those two reports. Most people understood it. Most people thought it was time. Not a lot of people complained about it, if any. The other thing, people were talking about them. We're talking about them. We weren't just talking about the Colts any longer. We weren't talking about the bowl games or who's going to play in the college football playoffs or college basketball. I mean, we were talking about, and believe me, this team, it needs some pub, because the only time you ever hear about them, or the only time you ever heard about them prior to that, was either they're losing or you can't watch them. Or if you want to add a third there, you're losing, you can't watch them, and you know what? Who cares that I can't watch it? I'm not going to try to find it. And it looks like the YouTube TV is going to be screwing with some others regarding ESPN too, but that's for another time. But no, I mean, it brought up conversation about this team, conversation that was just simply not being had. To me, those are good things. And everything was going fine. I mean, even with what Miles said. I mean, I'm a supporter in the past of Miles, and I just would always say, every time you say something, you know what happens? You have a bad game. And he had a couple of good games, and I tried to explain to everybody, hey, why don't you get mad? Because that's the type of player that he is. And then he brought out the storyline of not being utilized, and frankly, it probably does get tired, because people say, you know what, all he does is stand around in the corner on offense. Like, you guys believe that that's what he wants to do. You guys believe that, you know what, I'm just tired, like me. I'm just tired. I'm going to stand out here. I'm just going to wait for the ball reversal or a skip pass to come my way, or, a driving dish. Maybe the occasional high ball screen, pick and roll. I know pretty much 15% of the time those guards aren't going to throw it to me, so that's just kind of going, not so much going through the motions because he's going through the motions, but you just know you're not going to get the ball. It's like you can tell in football plays, especially in the NFL, you can tell when the wide receivers aren't a part of it when they come out of the huddle. Like when you get Miles into high ball screen situations, what do you think the percentage is that they actually get him on the dive to the rim? 10%? If that? I mean, you can tell by the way that he goes that he's not going to get the ball, or he doesn't expect to get the ball. And what I'm trying to say to you is he's not standing in the corner because he's lazy and wants to stand there. That is what they have drawn up offensively. That's their blueprint. So I can kind of understand if you wanted to be used differently. But again, we have seen in the past with him, whenever he speaks up about something or says something, something, probably a bad game, something like that is going to occur. And that's exactly what happened on Monday night against Golden State. I mean, if you watched the game on Friday night, he looked good against Dallas. If you watched that game, if you could have had that game on Monday night where more people were watching because of the Steph Curry situation, then you wouldn't have had people all over you. But then everybody kind of jumps on, a storyline that we've been talking about around here for 3 years. That's just what happens. It's what happens when people notice. But the thing I don't understand about the entirety of the situation is today, Herb Simon, they assembled Kravitz Doyle, two other dudes, and their website guy. And I'm not being a jerk by not naming them. I just don't know the three others that they got there, right? So I don't even think they got the new beat writer from the Star. And Herb Simon was answering questions. And, I guess what the storyline is, and I don't like to say the word narrative, and I'm not going to. The storyline is it's not a rebuild. And he talked about liking this team. Not to say they're not going to change it up, which they will in some form or fashion, but it's not going to be a rebuild. And I guess what I would ask right now is why? Why would you feel the need? Because nobody was saying, well, wait a minute, you can't rebuild this. You can't tear this down right now. We're not going to have it. Everybody was on board. And then even more people were on board because with Miles, your opinion, or at least a lot of opinions on Miles, are as consistent as his play can be. I mean, one game you see him play against Dallas and you go, hey, this is how it's supposed to be. This is their vision. This is going to work. This can win games. And then you watch him against Golden State, especially down the stretch, and he gets all these different wide-open 3 looks and doesn't knock it down. And that was a big game. More people were watching. I don't really understand why. Just leave it. Leave it. Now you have everybody saying, oh, so they're going to go ahead and double back. And now it wasn't about a rebuild anyway. They're going to make a change. It's just not going to be the level in which a lot of you believe, and I would just leave it. I don't think there's any need to bring Herb Simon out here and really, he probably disappointed people by what he said today. Because a lot of people are completely misinformed. Oh, now he's doubling back on what he initially said. Well, he didn't initially say that. So there's no doubling back. I mean, everybody assumed that by virtue of what Bob and what Shams had said last week. And we right here told you that it wasn't going to be it's going to be somewhere in between. Will they make changes? Sure. And then in between that, you had the Pritchard stuff where he got clumsy with words. I mean, if you're going to be clumsy with words, just don't use them. Don't say it. Like I should take my own advice. There's nobody that has a shorter, less robust vocabulary than me. But I'm not leading an organization. So, I mean, was it bad? No. Did I mind? No. It just kind of adds to the perception of drama and a level of soap opera going on that's really not there. I mean, if you're going to be able to fix something, I mean, overall, make deals. I mean, send Miles someplace. All right, I'd love to see Miles go someplace else. I'd love to see them reboot this thing with him. Not because I dislike him, because I know that this thing has run its course. Yeah, but now you got people are mad because they think, well, you knew this organization, you knew ownership. You know they didn't want to go all the way when they weren't doing that in the first place. So you've really muddied up a message that really wasn't there in the first place and didn't need to be there. And I don't understand that. Anything make sense to you before we hit a break here as to why? I mean, I understand you get Kravitz, you get Doyle, and I think Tony East and Agnes, and then Wheat. His name is Wheat, that writes for Pacers.com. But you don't...
Wheat Hotchkiss.
Yes, and I want to give him credit because I'm not trying to be a jerk about it. I just, I'm not very bright, so give me a break. But, I mean, nobody from Fox or Bally Sports Indiana, I mean, how in the world are they going to be doing something if they weren't there? So we're going to watch tonight when this team's in Milwaukee and go, okay, what? Are they going to have to quote? You're going to have to quote Bob? Yeah, I'm sure they're going to want to go on TV and quote Scott Agnes tonight, right? I mean, maybe that's the way that it works. I'm not sure, but it just, to me, it's a lot of stuff that seems incredibly unnecessary. Because everybody was fine. I mean, do something, play better, get more eyeballs on your product. I mean, do stuff like that. Just a lot of confusion. It looks like, I mentioned the term tripping over your blank yesterday. It's like a lot of that, just unnecessary stuff. Everybody uses the phrase, it's not rocket science. And listen, I know it goes much deeper than that. It just, I don't know what this whole trail of why you're doing this. Somebody's going to have to explain it to me. We'll see if Bob Kravitz from The Athletic, who got that invite earlier today, we'll see if he can help us sort this out coming up at 4:30. All right, 239-1070. Email address is JMV at 1070thefan.com. Show is on Twitter at JMV1070, on Facebook. I mean, listen, you can get us in a variety of ways. I sat here and complained about not having the AM stick before, and now we got 90 different ways to watch, to listen, to be a part of this show. So hopefully you're utilizing those to your best of abilities, too. Inside the Lounge via YouTube Live, as I mentioned, the voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor, on what is a mammoth game coming up on Saturday night. Matt Taylor, you, me at 239-1070. We're just scratching the surface with this Wednesday show. Next.
It does not get much bigger than this one. Saturday night inside of Lucas Oil Stadium, it is the Colts and the Patriots meeting at 8:15. Two teams that I think at this point of the season, especially the Patriots, are in a position that not a lot thought they would be, and that means some intriguing odds over the final month of the year. Luke Pergandy, owner of PropSwap, joins us now. And again, PropSwap, the place in the state of Indiana to buy a sports or sell sports props. Luke joins us now on the line. And Luke, these Colts odds starting to shift a little bit. I think there's some momentum building for them, and the Patriots odds have really shifted since the start of the year.
Both teams were above 100-1 at a point. The Patriots were 200-1 when they were 2-4. The Colts were 100-1 about a quarter of the way through the season. So Colts are now 30-1. Patriots are now plus 750. A ton of movement on both of these two teams. So people are selling those tickets on PropSwap, and then you as the buyer can swoop in and get a good discount. I know we have a Colts ticket up for 40-1. We have a Pats ticket up at 10-1. Both the best price in the country in those two teams.
And let's focus, if you don't mind, on the Colts really quick, Luke. If you think they're winning Saturday night, this is what you do. You go out, you buy a Colts Super Bowl ticket, and then you see them win on Saturday night, and their odds are inevitably going to shift big time. And now, all of a sudden, you get to this time next week, and you've got a winning ticket that you can either ride out for a little bit longer, or you can sell and make some money.
Buy two of them if you can.
Yeah.
You can find, go to Winner's Circle, your nearest sportsbook in Indiana, and grab two tickets on the Colts at the best number you can find. And then, they win this week. You flip one of them for 2 or 3 times what you paid next week. And then hold on to the other Colts future for some upside. It's a win-win.
Some great player prop tickets available on PropSwap as well. If you haven't already, make sure you go to PropSwap.com or download the free PropSwap app today.
Hey, guys, no pressure here, but if you really want to make this the best holiday ever, ask her already. What's more romantic than a holiday proposal? Come to Shane Company to see our amazing selection of unique engagement rings, crafted to last forever. Our warranty is free for a lifetime, and it even covers the center stone. No matter your budget, we'll help you create the perfect ring. We also have rings already set with a center stone, ready to go. And let's talk about center stones. All of our diamonds are conflict-free and natural, handpicked for their beauty. And Tom Shane personally selects our rubies and sapphires in Bangkok. We have so many center stones to choose from, plus we're a direct importer, which means we pass the savings on to you. All right, guys. Make it happen.
Book a virtual or an in-store appointment with a non-commissioned jewelry consultant, or just drop by the store. Check our website for hours. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
This holiday season, come celebrate with Big Red Liquors. They're gearing up for their 50th anniversary year in business in 2022. And as your go-to beer, wine, and spirits destination, they're ready to serve you. They're fully stocked on all your favorites with red-hot deals for VIPs and the fastest, friendliest checkout in the business. Big Red Liquors is also a great place to find a gift that anyone would love, whether a bourbon expert, wine connoisseur, or craft beer fanatic. If beer's what you're looking for, they can help with fantastic prices on ice-cold Bud, Miller, Coors, and Busch. Need the perfect spirit? Then come grab a bottle of Basil Hayden Bourbon. On sale only $23.99 with VIP. That's Basil Hayden Bourbon on sale for only $23.99 with VIP membership. Big Red Liquors has been locally owned and operated for 50 years and can't wait to serve you for 50 more. Big Red Liquors, your one-stop shop for fun this holiday season.
This is how we reinvent banking.
Say the money's gone tight in your spending account, but your car needs fixing and you're down and out. Ouch. Who who can help with the loan when you're stuck from 100 up to $1,000
With no interest when you auto pay us back, son. One gas starts with H's with Huntington. Introducing Standby Cash. Extra cash when you need it. Free when you auto pay it back. Huntington, welcome. Without automatic payments. 12% APR. Eligibility requirements apply. Amount available is based on customer eligibility. Learn more at huntington.com/standbycash.
When it comes to working at Geico, our best advocates are our employees, like Maxine. But since she is so focused on growing her career, we hired an actor to read her story.
At Geico, I love mentoring the new associates to help them make this a career and not just a job.
And with new opportunities and job stability, Geico has been helping people grow their careers for over 75 years. The only downside, she still hasn't met the gecko. Where are you, fella?
Ready to start your career, Indy? We're hiring claim sales and service agents. Apply online today at geico.job/Indy.
Got a great idea for you. I know this time of year does strike a bit of an interest for you to maybe want to get a new set of wheels. Sometimes you think, not so much, but especially this time of year, we have great deals. And my friend Eric Wilson at Indiana's Best, it's Andy Moore Buick GMC, 131st State Road 37. It is in Fishers. You ask about the inventory. They have the inventory. They have the deals and the best car buying experience you will find anywhere. So if you're in the market right now, don't just sit back. Get into the game. Make it happen with my friend Eric Wilson and Indiana's Best, Andy Moore Buick GMC, 131st State Road 37 in Fishers.
Bet Rivers Sportsbook wants you to be in control of your football bets. That's why players love the same game parlays at Bet Rivers. Same game parlays let you mix and match player props and game bets and gives a payout boost to the winning combinations you want to root for. Combine two bets or combine many. You pick your confidence level and then watch the game unfold. Bet on same-game parlays at BetRivers.com or download the BetRivers app. Must be 21 and located in Indiana. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 1-800-994-8448.
The Ride with JMV.
Hey, you gonna stare all day or you gonna buy something? I'm gonna stare all day.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Now, you get a little college football signing day, too, and the local teams are filling up via the transfer portal. What you have to do, you got to get in there and you got to mix it up, which is exactly what they're doing today. Get you updated a little bit later on regarding that. I mentioned Bob Kravitz and a host of others earlier today with a meeting, a Q&A with Herb Simon, Pacers owner. This was a Bob Kravitz tweet a couple of hours ago. We'll get more into this coming up at the bottom of the 4 o'clock hour. Bob said he had a lot to say, but the gist was he's happy with the team as it's currently constituted. And while trades are always possible, the team is not in rebuild or retool mode. Stay tuned. I mean, you don't say that you can't be happy with it. You can't be happy. I mean, something when you 12th in the NBA in the East. That's why I said I don't know why everybody's making something that just last week was just fine. You had an article. I mean, you got to do like one or two, or if not all three things. Certainly it's going to be one or the other. Either win, you're going to make a deal. You got to find a way to get more eyeballs on the product. I mean, you can't be floating around out there in coverage purgatory for very long. I just don't know why. I don't know why they've chosen this path in the past week. Talk to Bob about that coming up at the bottom of the 4 o'clock hour. Andy Moore, Automotive Group Hotline, a big one inside Lucas Oil Stadium. I mean, it's got to be a dream for the owner, Jim Irsay, who has constantly over the past 5 or so years wanted a prime time game, especially of meeting inside Lucas Oil Stadium. And Matt, he's got one coming up on Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, what is it? The first, I know it's not Sunday night or Monday night, but it's the first, non-Thursday primetime game since 2015 at Lucas Oil Stadium. So, I mean, this is like Christmas. I mean, if you're a football fan, Christmas come early because it's a Saturday night game. Most people don't have to work on Sunday, so people are going to be lubricated and ready to go and tailgating. And the Patriots are in town. We all know what that means. And trying to snap an 8-game losing streak to New England. Plus, it's another AFC game and the Colts are trying to pad their record inside the conference, right? I mean, that's why they're in the playoffs as of right now, because they have the tiebreaker on some of these other 7-6 teams, because they are 6-3 in the AFC, which is the second best conference record behind only New England. Plus 4 games left, and the parity in the conference. I mean, these games mean so much. So, I mean, this is great for the players. It's great for the coaches. It's great for the fans. It's great for the league. They get a marquee game, and this is going to be awesome. I can't wait. I'm giving myself goosebumps just talking about it right now.
So
I'm fired up.
Matt Taylor, voice of the Colts on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Do you buy it all that the players, when they suggest that, they do look at things week to week and this is just week 15 and you don't so much, look at who you're playing on the other sideline as that big of a deal? I mean, this has to be, in certain circumstances, have to be different, right?
I do believe the players. I mean, I think both can be true, right? I think both can be true in that I think most of the guys, I mean, if you look at whatever the number is, I haven't crunched the roster percentages in terms of players that are still here or that were on the team in 2018. But even the players that have been here that long, I mean, they really haven't experienced that bad blood with New England, right? They've only played them one game, and it was kind of a week 5 ho-hum Thursday night game in the sense that it wasn't pivotal. It wasn't. I mean, nothing happened in that game to raise tempers and get people fired up. It was just a week 5 game where the Colts came up short, and they played with 41 guys in that game because they had so many injuries. But so I think it depends on the player. I think obviously a guy like T.Y. Hilton is going to have more motivation going into this game or feel more emotions surrounding the Patriots regarding New England than a guy like, Jonathan Taylor. I mean, for Jonathan Taylor, it's the first time he's playing New England. And for him, I think in a lot of ways, it's just the next game. But from what people are telling him around the building, and, I'm sure he's, experiencing the fans, whether he's, out running errands or just doing events and doing charity work, I'm sure people are coming up to him all the time saying, hey, great season, you're doing great. And then they kind of end the conversation with, hey, beat New England. It's kind of like that IU Purdue thing. Like, you're having a great season, but it's not as good if you don't beat IU or if you don't beat Purdue, depending on what side of the fence you're on.
So the Colts are Purdue in this case?
No, I know.
I'm just joking. I don't want to take you there. So yeah, I'm just joking.
No, so I think the game does mean more to the fan base, and I think this game will allow players on the team to understand what it's like to play New England when they step on the field and they experience the energy in the crowd and the loudness, if you will, the velocity of the noise there at Lucas Oil Stadium. So it's really going to be fun for a lot of guys to experience this for the first time. And I think it becomes only a rivalry if the Colts do their part.
Yeah.
And that's where they've come up short, right? 8 straight losses, and a lot of those games have been blowouts, plus you have the Deflategate saga. So a lot of guys just haven't been here long enough to experience that, and obviously haven't had many opportunities to play New England with a lot on the line.
Yeah, it's Matt Taylor who joins us. I said this a little bit earlier. You could not have asked for a better situation, Matt, going into Saturday as it stands right now. And, obviously with everything that's going on in sports and the world in general, this is as the world turns, minute by minute. But as it stands right now, you could not have asked for a better situation considering where this Colts team once might have been, certainly were earlier in the season.
I mean, I think you can say the same thing for both teams. I mean, if you go back to week 6, and, somebody came up to you and said, hey, this Colts-Patriots game, that's going to have a lot of, magnitude, and there's going to be a lot of hype surrounding it, and the NFL is going to flex that to Saturday night in prime time with a lot of eyeballs on it. A lot of people would be scratching their heads saying, you sure? Because, both teams at that point were 2-4, and it didn't look so good. New England was kind of having an up-and-down season, and, the defense was kind of rocky, and they had a rookie quarterback that was kind of struggling up and down a little bit, but then all of a sudden, boom, both teams kind of find their identity. Schedule kind of lightened up for both teams. Since then, New England 7-0, the Colts are 5-2, and both teams are squarely in the playoff mix. I mean, obviously, New England leads the AFC East. They're looking to be the number one seed in the conference and do that for the 8th time under Belichick. And the Colts got a tremendous amount of help over the weekend without even playing. So the Colts know what's going on right now. If they control what they can control, and that's win football games, they're in the playoffs. They don't need help anymore down the stretch. They're squarely in right now with 4 games left. So as long as they take care of business and win a majority of these last 4 games, they're in without any influence anywhere else. So I think at the middle of October, this game didn't have a lot of sexiness to it, but man, it sure as hell does now.
So Matt Taylor, who's the voice of the Colts on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I believe I get everything started coming up on Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock, and then we fly into it at 5. I hope that I'm right about that. Do you know? Am I right about those times?
5:30 you begin on Saturday.
5:30 I begin. So I start at 4 or 4:30. I'll start at some point on Saturday, and it'll be a heller.
Oh, I'm sorry, you begin. Yeah, I'm the Colts. Yeah. The Colts portion of your involvement. I always forget you're the hardest working man in radio. And
damn straight.
85 jobs. So your Colts responsibilities begin at 5:30, and then I would assume your lead into Colts broadcast is going to begin at 4:30. But that's just an assumption by me. And you never want me to assume anything.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right, definitely. Health of this team as we're midweek, yet a day earlier because this game's going to be played on Saturday night, Matt.
Yeah, I think they're in really good shape. I mean, we're obviously watching to see what the COVID situation is for Zaire Franklin. There's a chance he could get back depending on, vaccination statuses, and that's a whole can of worms because you never know. But there's a chance he could get back for the game on Saturday depending on how things go, and that's big because he's really involved on defense and special teams. But I think for the most part, if you look at this team, they're pretty healthy, and that's what was so beneficial about the bye, coming out of Houston. They had no major injuries in that second game against the Texans, plus a late season bye to kind of just rest, recover, and, mentally and spiritually get ready to go for these last 4 games. So I think it's almost a little bit of a blessing in disguise that they had, a week 14 bye, whereas at the beginning of the season, when they had so many injuries and, coming out of training camp in those first couple of weeks and, Carson Wentz is dealing with his foot, same thing with Quentin Nelson, yada, 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 so on and so forth. I mean, just so many guys, big-time injuries to big-time players. You looked at the schedule and you're thinking to yourself, how in the world are they going to navigate this season? How are they going to get to a week 14 bye? Well, slowly but surely they did, and around week 9, 10, 11, they started to get, for the most part, healthy, comparatively speaking, to how they began the season. And now I think everybody's feeling good. I mean, I think that week off for Darius Leonard is going to be just so instrumental. Same thing for Quentin Nelson to rest that back, rest that ankle, all the litany of things he's been dealing with this season. Same thing with DeForest Buckner. He had his knee injury a couple of weeks ago. So all those little nicks and bruises and stuff that, there's every guy deals with probably like 5 or 6 things that don't even show up on the injury report. To have a week off to deal with those this late in the season and get ready for the stretch run, I think that's going to be a blessing in disguise when it's all said and done.
Hey, Matt, I actually was teasing trying to get Rick Venturi to call in because obviously knowing Belichick, being a part of that in the past, and he's got some insight I'd like to lean on, and I know you do, and you will certainly in that broadcast, but I think it's common knowledge that most believe when Belichick takes something away, in this case, he's going to try to take away 28. Might that be different? Is everybody right about this? Or, I don't know how much conversation you've had with Rick to this point. Does he believe in those conversations, if you've had them, that that's exactly what Belichick defensively will try to do on Saturday night?
Yeah, spot on. We talked about that today. I'm gonna take this opportunity, if you don't mind, to plug up the podcast.
Why don't you? Because listen, I thought he'd be out riding his hog right now or something and would call in, but I haven't had a call yet. So,
well, I'm sure that's what he's doing, but I don't think he's got a cell phone on him. Yeah. But no, at any rate, it's called Inside Football. It's the podcast that Rick and I do every week, and Rick does, the heavy lifting. I'm just there to play quarterback and hand off the ball to him when we talk about the game plans on a weekly basis for the Colts. And we talked heavily about that in the podcast. I encourage people to check it out. It's Colts.com, the Colts mobile app, and then the Colts Audio Network. Anywhere you get your podcast, you can check it out. Just type in Colts on iTunes or Spotify or wherever, and inside football should pop up. And we talked heavily about that today with, okay, if you're Bill Belichick and those guys, he and Rick coached together with the Cleveland Browns back in the day in the mid-'90s, and so he knows this guy. And he has been in these meeting rooms, and he's been inside the mind of Bill, and he gave a play-by-play on how the week's going to go, right? On Sunday when the bye week was over for the Patriots, when they reconvened on Sunday night, I'm sure he had a big-time notebook all scribbled up, and the biggest thing that came out of that was we're stopping 28, and then on third down, we're going to stop number 11 in the passing game. That's Jonathan Taylor. So absolutely, you're exactly right. That's what Rick thinks as well. And it's one thing to have the game plan to do that. It's another thing to be able to execute it. Rick seems to think, not to steal anything away from the podcast, but Rick seems to think that they're going to use the same game plan or the same strategies as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a couple years ago, where it's a heavy, very physical 3-4 defense. They're going to put 4 guys down on the defensive line at times and rotate things or shift things on the defensive line to the tight end side for the Colts. And they're going to play that double sync, and they're going to put a weak side linebacker on the other side and basically make sure that Jonathan Taylor doesn't beat him at the point of attack. It's one thing to do that, though. It's another thing to pull it off. It's like you can be great at the X's and O's, but you have to have the Jimmies and Joes. But I just think Tampa Bay they are the gold standard, in my opinion, at stopping the run. Not that New England can't be capable of it. I just don't think they're going to be able to pull it off to the degree that Tampa Bay was a couple of weeks ago. So I don't think the Colts are going to be – I don't think that the Patriots are going to scare the Colts off from being themselves and wanting to run the ball and establish Jonathan Taylor. But they have to know at the end of the day, sometimes you just can't beat numbers. And depending on where the Patriots line up, they're going to have to throw the ball on the outside. And like I said, you might see some double teams or some double sent Michael Pittman's way, and therefore it's got to be the supporting cast stepping up and playing big, like T.Y. Hilton and Zach Pascal and Naeem Hines in this game. So I do think it's going to be a heavy emphasis in stopping the run, but I don't think it's going to be like the RPO-heavy game that you saw 3 weeks ago, the weekend after Thanksgiving, when the Colts just abandoned the run altogether, knowing they couldn't run on that Tampa front. They can run on this New England front, but obviously that's going to be their priority going into the game.
That is Matt Taylor, voice of the Colts, who's excited and got you covered. We'll all have you covered. I believe I started either 4 p.m. or 4:30 or some point, and we'll bring it all together for you leading up to that game coming up on Saturday night with the Patriots and the Colts down at Lucas Oil Stadium. Matt Taylor, voice of the Colts, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, man. Keep it dialed down. You still got a couple of days to go. Don't squeeze all the juice out of that thing before Saturday night, all right?
Hey, you got it, man. Hey, it's been an adventure every single week with this voice. Everybody's got the crap going around, so I wake up every day wondering what I'm going to sound like that day. But knock on wood, the last week and a half, I've been in good shape, so hopefully it gets me a Saturday as well.
All right, buddy. Stay in touch.
All right, pal. Be good.
Matt Taylor, voice of the Colts on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. No Giannis tonight. Bob Kravitz and more regarding Herb Simon meeting with some of the media earlier today regarding the Pacers and what they're going to do in the future. That and more with Bob coming up here in about 45 minutes. Let me take a break. I'll get back with you next.
We've teamed up with Four Winds Casino to give away a Colts vs. Raiders VIP game day experience January 2nd and a $250 Four Winds Casino gift card. Visit 1075thefan.com for details.
We've done it again.
Golden Oak Lending has dropped rates even lower.
I'm James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak. With a 1.875% rate and home values up, you can get more cash out now.
Call 317-706-GOLD today and make no mortgage payments until next year.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
NMLS 114937, 1.875% fixed, 2.952% APR, FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul, Tequila Shots, Week 15. Me, Brent Halverson, and Tommy S., Coach's Tavern downtown. Join us tomorrow, 3 until 6. It's going to be a blast. The free samples will be flowing. And you get our Week 15 Larceny Bourbon Locks and Luna Azul Tequila Shots tomorrow. Coach's Tavern downtown at 3.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
It's the most wonderful time of the year when the weather is cold and holiday parties are coming soon. Turn your annual holiday party up a notch and host it at Twin Peaks, an unforgettable experience that might be tough to remember. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
Hey, basketball fans, celebrate the NBA 75th anniversary season on FanDuel Sportsbook. And right now, new customers can place their first bet risk-free. And, well, if you don't win, you get up to $1,000 back. It's that easy, right? There's no better place to do it than FanDuel Sportsbook. And hooking all their customers up with $50 when you refer a friend. That's nice. Use my promo code JMV because we're friends. Get that first bet risk-free up to $1,000. Again, use that promo code JMV. Tonight's a great night to do it in the NBA if you're thinking about the Bucks and the Pacers as well. That and then some of FanDuel Sportsbook, 21 plus and present in Indiana. First online real money wager only. Refund issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH.
Want to make this the most unforgettable Christmas? Diamonds Direct is here to help with our most dazzling selection ever and 4 years zero-interest financing. Diamonds Direct showcases are fully stocked with the classics, as well as the latest trendy fashion jewelry from world-class designers. You'll get the unbeatable value price Diamonds Direct is known for. Plus, spread your payments over 4 years, 48 whole months with zero interest. Get holiday store hours, directions, finance details, and see our online gift guide at diamondsdirect.com. On approved credit.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, B&W Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drains. Co-owner Beth Rovazini has a great suggestion on what you should do if you're not sure whether to repair or replace that old furnace.
Just go to our website, bigbblacktrucks.com, and look for the HVAC Repair Replace Guide. It's a free download, and you fill it out, and then you'll know whether you should do that repair or replace it.
Call B&W at 317-751-2325 or go to bigbblacktrucks.com. B&W is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
BullseyeEventGroup.com, Colts VIP tailgate. This is going to be a blast coming up on Saturday. All you can eat, all you can drink. DJ Skids, DJ Helicon, entertainment, Bullseye Event Center. Got to be there. Get your passes right now, BullseyeEventGroup.com. If you don't have tickets, get those as well. Anywhere inside the stadium for Saturday, it's BullseyeEventGroup.com. This party is going to be, as we used to say, off the chain back in the 90s. It's going to be great on Saturday. Be there. Passes right now. BullseyeEventGroup.com.
Indy's number one for new country is 97.1 Hank FM.
Maybe some things last forever after all. I hope you both feel the sparks by the end of the drive. It was your country song.
Starting your day with 97 minutes of commercial-free new country every weekday morning at 8:30 with Joey and Mindy. More new country and fewer commercials means more of this.
Hey, it's Luke Combs.
This is Carrie Underwood.
Hey, y'all, it's Luke Bryan.
Indy's number one for new country is
97.1 Hank FM.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Warby Parker. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at warbyparker.com/terms.
Did you pay too much for your glasses? Ever wonder why glasses cost so much? It's because for decades, the eyewear industry was dominated by a single company that kept prices artificially high while reaping huge profits. Warby Parker was created to change that.
I just made my first Warby Parker purchase. The glasses were everything I could have wanted and more. I absolutely love them. And they only cost $95, including prescription lenses.
Warby Parker's glasses are designed and produced in-house, so you get high quality for a fraction of the price. Warby Parker's glasses start at just $95, including your prescription, plus scratch-resistant anti-reflective coatings and UV protection at no extra cost. Now, do you need new glasses? Text GLASSES to 64,000 to pick 5 Warby Parker frames to try on at home for free. That's GLASSES to 64,000 to get started for free. GLASSES to 64,000.
The Colts return from the bye week to host the New England Patriots. Coverage Saturday at 5:30 on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
If peeing your pants is cool, consider me Miles Davis.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Matt Taylor, voice of the Colts. Podcast 1075thefan.com. Colin DeHart's right here. Big news for the Colts. DeAndre Hopkins, that's, of course, coming up on Christmas Day. Cardinals wide receiver expected to miss the rest of the regular season with a sprained knee. Yeah, that is something to look at. No doubt about that in that Christmas game versus the Arizona Cardinals. And the fact that you don't know maybe where Arizona's going. Last year, they started their fade out at the beginning of December. If you take what they did on Monday night as a red flag concern, you might be right. Yeah, I just saw this. And we'll get to what Bob Kravitz coming up at the bottom of the 5 o'clock hour regarding Pacers owner Herb Simon meeting with the media, some of the media a little bit earlier today, and what he had to say about the, how should we put that, about the state of the team, I guess. We'll do that coming up at the bottom of the hour. Christopher Price, Boston Globe, Patriots, Colts. We'll dive into that from the Patriots standpoint for you next.
Get your payout before the game's out with BetMGM. Place a moneyline wager on any Thursday night football game, and if your team is up by 10 or more points at halftime, you win. That's a full payout for only half the game, no matter what happens the rest of the way. Simply go to your BetMGM account and opt in each week to the Thursday night halftime payout promotion. Want to continue wagering in the third quarter? Keep it rolling with BetMGM's extensive live betting options. Need hit the sack early? Use your winnings to place a one-game parlay on Sunday and go for gridiron glory. If you're new to BetMGM, download the app today and see how you can turn halftime into cash time. Make a moneyline bet on Thursday night, and if your team is up by 10 or more, you'll win at the half. Only at BetMGM. Opt-in required. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Indiana only. Must be 21 years or older to wager. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Connecticut Water is the absolute best this time of year. If you don't have it, see about getting it. Joe, John, and Dennis with the great deals on the Premier Series water softener, the in-home K5 drinking water system, which is a life changer, especially if you struggle with hydrating or the level in which they tell us. Easy to do with the K5. Great deals, prices, and more for the holiday season right now. And the best water out there with my friends at Connecticut. Find out. 2 locations, Northeast Side, Castleton, South Side, US 31 and Southport Road. The Connecticut Water app. You got all kinds of things at discounts. You can get accessories and more for all of the Connecticut products or online, ConnecticutIndy.com.
Bowling, 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 keep them balls a-rolling. Bowling, bowling, bowling. Royal Pin.
Bowling's back. Same great game, new rules. And Royal Pin Entertainment wants to help you put the fa-la-la back into your corporate Christmas event. Royal Pin Entertainment offers the perfect combination of food and fun. At Royal Pin, you don't have to be a super athlete to have a blast, and everyone's on the team when you're bowling. It's time to get jolly, and Royal Pin has all the trimmings your company needs to make this year's Christmas event the best ever. It's always comfy in their modern entertainment centers, and bowling's guaranteed to create team spirit and glad tidings. Let Royal Pin organize your company's Christmas event. For more information, download the Open Lane app, call 465-8484, or look them up at royalpin.com.
Royal Pin. Bowling, bowling. Royal Pin.
Hey, you guys absolutely love me talking about this time of year. The response has been fantastic. JMV here, and all right, we're approaching Christmas. Give her the next best thing to wearing nothing at all with the soft, silky, naturally nude pajamas available exclusively at Pajamagram. Fantastic, original gift-giving idea. You can be original and use that imagination a little bit too. Naturally nude pajamas from Pajamagram. And best of all, Pajamagram does the wrapping for you. Free gift packaging. You can order right now for guaranteed delivery by Christmas. Plus, they're backed by a 100% lifetime guarantee. No risk, just pure luxury. Hey, get in there right now to make sure that you get this in before they're sold out upon Christmas here, okay? You guys have loved it, so this is a great original idea. I always try to help you out this time of year. Go to Pajamagram.com. Again, Pajamagram.com to order naturally nude pajamas. Pajamagram.com. Tell them JMV sent you.
The non-stop action of tennis takes center court at Bet Rivers Sportsbook. Bet Rivers serves up an exciting tennis betting experience like no other, with a massive number of live in-game betting options, including point-by-point betting. But don't just bet on the game live. Watch it live. Bet Rivers Sportsbook live streams a huge number of tour events from around the world throughout the tennis season. Try it today, and Bet Rivers will match your first deposit up to $250. It's a winner. Bet on tennis at Bet Rivers Sportsbook. Go now to betrivers.com. Must be 21 or over to play. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 1-800-994-844.
Crew Car Wash Wash Books make the perfect gift for anyone on your list. The Ultimate Book is on sale now for buy 4 washes, get 2 free. Purchase at any Crew Car Wash location today.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
WIBC HD2 W298BB. WIBC HD3 W228CX. Indianapolis.
Thursday on Kevin and Query, the director of Hard Knocks, Steve Trout, recaps episode 5 with us, and we look back on the Pacers-Bucks game on Wednesday night. Join us, 7 a.m.
The Ride with JMV.
Whenever we need a brilliant insight, he's available at the drop of a hat.
Hey, Mom! I'm done with my segment!
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila Shots. Week 15, me, Brent Halverson, Tommy S. tomorrow, Coach's Tavern downtown. We got to have asses in the seats for that, and the free samples will be flowing. Just make sure you're there. I made my last 2 weeks have been much better. Kyle whipped us all this past week with what he did. What'd you have, 1 loss or 2 losses? You son of a gun. I didn't do that well, but I'm back in play right now. I'm feeling good about it. Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila Shots, Coach's Tavern with us beginning at 3. Tomorrow, of course, we'll make our selections on the big one on Saturday night here at Lucas Oil Stadium, Patriots and the Colts. And from the Patriots angle and then some from the Boston Globe, he's got a Patriots Report podcast as well. Chris Price joins us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Hello, Chris. How are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing this afternoon?
I'm fantastic. I can't wait to get to the bourbon and the tequila tomorrow part of it. But, yeah, I'm good this afternoon, nonetheless. Over the 7-game win streak that the Patriots are riding right now, the most impressive aspect, what has stood out to you?
Their ability to run the ball and run it consistently. When you see the work of guys like Ramondre Stevenson and Damian Harris, and probably to a lesser extent Brandon Bolden, they're able to move the ball really consistently on the ground. And a lot of that obviously comes from the offensive line and the game plan and the scheme and all that. But their ability to execute when needed has been really impressive since the start of the year. This is a group of guys, the 2 youngsters, Harris and Stevenson in particular, really started the year on a rough note. They had some bad turnovers. The season opener, Harris fumbled on what would have been the game-winning drive with like 2 minutes to go against Miami. And so he was in the doghouse for a while. Stevenson had some fumbles in the preseason, had some struggles on blitz pickup. But since then, these 2 guys have been rock solid, and they form the basis of a really impressive offensive unit. Again, it's not just that, but for me, first and foremost, when it comes to their overall success level, at least on the offensive side of the ball, it's those 2 guys.
Yeah, Chris Price covers the Patriots, Boston Globe writer, host of the Patriots Report podcast on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. You talked about the early season struggles, too, losing 3 of their first 4. Signature moment to turn this around. What does anything stand out for you as far as that's concerned?
The Chargers game, really. That's when they were able to kind of flip the switch, and I think they found something in that game, whether it was personnel, whether it was a combination of things, whether Mac being able to start to really play well. He played well to that point in the season, but things really kind of started to click for them on the offensive side of the ball. So I think it was the Chargers game where things started to look a little bleak for them. They go 2-4 out of the gate. They go out to the West Coast. They put together a really nice win against a really good football team, and things have really kind of come together since then.
Mac Jones has been good. There's no doubt about that as a rookie. Give us his I guess, most solid, most endearing, best trait that he has shown you as a quarterback, a rookie quarterback, playing in New England, which can't be easy, and obviously not too many have played before him for a lot of years. But what quality has stood out to you from what you've seen from the rookie from Alabama?
His consistent ability to make the right decision on almost every single occasion when faced with a big moment. And that's not to say he hasn't had some struggles here and there, but for the most part, he has done very well when it comes to taking care of the football, not forcing it into tight windows, not turning the ball over. He knows when to take a sack. He knows when to throw the ball out of bounds. And he's also willing, with the coaching staff, to work with them on a game plan like we saw a couple weeks ago against Buffalo, where he only threw the ball 3 times, but they still went into a very tough environment and came out with a victory. And so it's, the physical aspect is not, he doesn't necessarily remind you of a Pro Bowl quarterback when you look at him, but his ability to continue to make the right decisions time and again, to take care of the football, to realize his place within the framework of the offense, to be able to lean on offensive difference makers. We mentioned Harris and Stevenson before, but guys like Hunter Henry, guys like Kendrick Bourne, guys like Jacoby Myers, it's all really kind of come together very, very nicely for him.
Christopher Price, Boston Globe, covers the Patriots on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Yeah, I'm sure I'm not going to get the answer I'm looking for, so I'll have to, at least from the Patriots standpoint, but I'll ask you your opinion on this, because last year was a disappointment. There's no doubt about it. And then, you watch Tom Brady go on and win another Super Bowl with a different team. Does any of that, in your opinion at all, play a role in the focus, the level in which they're playing, especially through this 7-game win streak this season?
I think a little bit. I do. I think it maybe 10 or 15%. That's part of it as well. But I also think last year, and you start to hear this more and more, it was a lost season in a lot of ways for them. I hate to use the term bridge season from Brady to Mac and kind of life after Tom Brady, but it was a weird year to see the NFL parade kind of go down Main Street, and the Patriots were such a part of it for so many years. To be able to kind of see them as just another franchise, at least for another year. But there's a few different things in play. I think that when you get guys back on the defensive side of the ball, in particular, guys like Dante Hightower who opted out last year, they figured out the quarterback situation, at least theoretically now with Cam going forward. You get another running back in Stevenson. And you're able to have the off season that they had when it came to the free agency process. You're able to go out and get guys like Bourne and Aguilar, and in particular Matt Judon. And so, last year, I don't want to give Belichick a mulligan for it because, what he's been able to do over this 7-game win streak. But I think last year and what happened last year certainly played into their line of thinking when it comes to this season, in particular, like you said, the 7-game win streak.
What was the fan base thought when Mac Jones was drafted in the spring of this past year compared to what and how they view him presently?
There was a feeling of optimism, but I don't think anyone thought that Mac Jones could do what he's done over these first 13 games. I think that, hey, he played for a buddy of Bill's at Alabama. We like that. He showed an ability to win. We like that. He checked off some of the boxes, at least for the fan base. But really, until the rubber hit the road, no one was really 100% sure what he was. There was still a school of thought, and I was right there too, that they were going to figure out a way in the offseason to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo and get him back under center in New England. And so I think that, like I said, there was a feeling of optimism, but there was still a sense of, okay, well, let's really see what happens. And then when they cut Cam in the preseason, that's when you said, all right, man, this is the guy, in Bill we trust. If Bill sees this, if Bill's able to, feel confident enough cutting loose Cam Newton and going with a kid, we feel pretty good about where things are, at least at this point.
Hey, Chris Price, Boston Globe, covers the Patriots. Of course, Patriots and Colts coming up on Saturday night at Lucas Oil Stadium. I'll get you started 4 o'clock in the afternoon and lead you right up to game time here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. I saw where Josh McDaniels said yesterday he had no regrets, and I would really expect nothing less. I'm curious about McDaniels and his future. Is his future ultimately going to be taking over as the head coach whenever his Belichick is done there, or might he be someplace else sooner rather than later? What's working here that obviously has not taken place yet? Anything at all?
Well, my thinking was that he, this was a couple of years ago. It was, well, of course he's going to be the guy who's going to take over for Bill once Bill's decided to hang him up. I will say this in the context of this conversation: I think Bill wants to hang around long enough to be able to pass Don Shula. And so that, at least in theory, as we sit here, that's probably going to take another couple of years. Yeah. So we don't know how that's all going to kind of play out. I will say this offseason, I think he has done enough to rehabilitate his image when it comes to working with Mac Jones that he could be a candidate somewhere this offseason. I'm not 100% sure where, but there's an awful lot of conversation up here that, hey, you know what? He did it with Tom Brady. Now there's a whole new quarterback in the mix. He's been able to take Mac Jones from here to here and make him one of the favorites for the Offensive Rookie of the Year. maybe this guy is another guy we should take or maybe this guy is a guy we should take another look at moving forward. So I do think he still feels lousy, at least on some level, in terms of how things went down in Indianapolis. But I think now, a couple of years later, with the benefit of hindsight, I think he could get another job, head coaching job, sooner rather than later in the National Football League.
Has that bruise or stain? We haven't talked much about it other than just kind of wondering. Everybody moved on. Obviously, Jim Irsay got those closest to him together, and they ended up picking Frank Reich, a guy that wasn't even on Chris Ballard's top 8 or 9, I think, on that original list. But has this, in your opinion, been a stain or a bruise that's followed him around since that point in time when he decided to bail here in the 11th hour?
I think initially it did, at least over the year after it happened. But I think, again, the fact that he's been able to do what he did with Mac, I think that has kind of rehabbed his image a little bit. And so I guess ultimately to answer your question, I would say initially, but I think that bruise has since healed over.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I view it this way because obviously this is a huge game for Colts fans. And, we had Chris going back when Josh McDaniels made that decision to bail there at the last minute, saying the rivalry is back on. Is it anywhere, do you get a sense at all from Patriots fans that they give much of a care or anywhere in the neighborhood of the level of care that the Colts fans have in the case of when their team plays the Patriots at all? I mean, anywhere near?
I think it has the potential to rebound a little bit, especially with Saturday night prime time. I don't know how you feel about it. This feels like a bit of a bigger game than when at the start of the year when you circle the games in the calendar. If you're a Patriots fan, obviously you're looking at the Tampa Bay game and you're probably looking at the Dallas game and maybe another game here or there. This all of a sudden has become a really compelling game, and I think as a result, there is a feeling that the rivalry, at least in some manner, is back on or has a chance to return because there's so much at stake here. I think if these two teams came into this game and they were, let's say 5-8 and 4-9, we would just kind of shrug our shoulders and say, well, it's just another ball game. But I think the fact that there is a lot at stake for both teams coming into this game, that certainly lends a sense of big game feel to it, the kind of big game feel that they had for, a decade plus all those years ago.
Yeah, Chris, I brought up yesterday, I mean, other than the initial Manning return with the Broncos here, that's going to be the biggest regular season game that in my memory at Lucas Oil Stadium. But, I mean, this is one that's going to be in the conversation. And it's a little bit different from a Colts standpoint because while you're absolutely right, New England started out losing, 3 of their first 4 or whatever. They went over a streak like that and then rebounded. Now they've won 7 consecutive. I mean, the Colts are digging out of an even bigger hole. Thus, this game is even larger for them. And then to prove it to the fans around here that you can get over, the hump of not screwing yourself against a team that's equal to or greater than you in the AFC, and then doing it against the Patriots, obviously that magnifies the entire situation this late in the season.
Yeah, and also, too, I think the NFL is better when this rivalry is important.
I agree.
I really do.
Yeah.
And maybe, I'm just looking at it, we're just looking at it from a, unique perspective, a biased lens, but whatever the case may be, this rivalry has been so great for such a long time and has involved so many people. This is not Brady Manning. I think we all understand that, and that was great, and that was for an extended period of time. It was so much fun, and it meant something that every time these two teams got together, that there was so much on the line, and that kind of waned a little bit, over the last couple of years. And obviously, I get it, and it's going to kind of go back and forth, and it's not going to be like around here for so many years, and it continues to be Red Sox Yankees. That's the rivalry, that's the one. And I think while if you're a Patriots fan, some teams kind of come on and off your radar, whether it's the Steelers, whether it's the Broncos, whether it's the Ravens. The Colts, for me, I think still represent that classic rivalry, that classic counterpoint to the New England franchise because those games were so important for such a long time. It still has that big game feel to it, and I think we're kind of getting back to a little bit of that come Saturday night.
So Chris Price, Boston Globe writer, he's the host of the Patriots Report podcast, kind enough to join us via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Historically speaking, Bill Belichick, defensively, with those that handle the defense, wants to take something away. The logical choice, at least among those that call this show and those that cover the Colts, would be, defensively, the Patriots trying to take away Jonathan Taylor. Do you think that is going to be the absolute approach for this Patriots defense on Saturday? And then furthermore, the level in which you have seen, especially during this 7-game win streak on the defensive side of the football.
Yeah, that is without a doubt. That's their number one goal. There's a strong feeling that if you can limit Taylor, look, you're not going to shut him down no matter what you do. He projects to be a phenomenal running back. He's put up amazing numbers. He continues to find the end zone. He's going to do his damage. But if you can limit him, and then for example, you make Carson Wentz beat you, or you make someone else. You force them to fight left-handed fundamentally. And if the Colts can win, you know what? God bless you if they can do it. I think one of the things that continues to stand out for me about this Patriots team on the defensive side of the ball is their ability to stop the run when it matters. The numbers have to be put in some sort of context, but they gave up over 200 yards on the ground against Tennessee. 68 of that was against one run, and the majority of that was garbage yards. But when it matters, on third downs, on fourth downs, when they have to have those gotta-have-it plays, they continue to get them from guys like Matthew Judon, who is just an absolute game wrecker, from J.C. Jackson, who's been tremendous for them at cornerback since they decided to trade Stephon Gilmore, from veterans like Devin McCourty. They're able to get those defensive performances when they've needed them most, and I think we're going to see a lot of that on Sunday night. So again, ultimately, to answer your question, they're going to try and do their best to slow Taylor, and that's going to be the primary focus. So, if Wentz can beat you, if he can throw for 300-something yards and hit T.Y. Hilton for a couple of touchdowns, and, then you know what? God bless you if you're going to be able to do that. So I think that's going to be the focus.
What's interesting, Chris, too, is the Colts offensively, they played more than a handful of, let's say, top 15 defenses this year. And, they're putting up 30-plus games, or I should say 30-plus points a game versus those better top 15 defenses around the NFL in which they played on their schedule. Would you characterize the Colts offense as a high-powered offense? How do you view it?
Not necessarily a high-powered offense, but an offense that is going to look to get up on you early. And I know that the biggest goal for Indianapolis and what they want to do offensively is to be able to get up on you early and just beat you to death with that running game and just be physical and drain the clock and, give the ball to Taylor over and over and over and over and over again and really impose their will. So I don't know if I would kind of classify them as one of those classic quick strike offenses, but they do something very specific. They're the best first quarter team in football. They look to score on you early. They look to control the tempo of the game early. If you're able to get up on them, if you're able to kind of take a double-digit lead, a 7 to 10 point lead after one quarter, you have to feel good about their chances. I know on Saturday night the crowd's going to be loud, the place is going to be rocking, and so what you have to do if you're the Patriots, you have to absorb that first emotional punch from Indianapolis, from that offense, from Taylor, from Wentz. If you can absorb that punch and you're still standing, I like New England's chances in this one.
Hey, finally, too, Chris, how's the health look for this Patriots team across the board as we inch closer to that game on Saturday night?
They're as healthy as you're going to be at this time of year. There's some guys who are banged up, but they're also getting some guys back, off of IR. The biggest key for them health-wise has been the state of the offensive line. One of the reasons they struggled out of the gate, especially with a rookie quarterback back there, is because the offensive line was not completely healthy, but they have those 5 guys back. They're playing well together as a group, really across the board. I think they're, again, as healthy as you can be at this stage of the season. They've been banged up. And we talked about the running backs. They've also had their health issues before, but I think going into this one, you're going to see a full complement of Patriots Saturday night.
Yeah, it's funny because that's exactly how the Colts feel right now, too.
Yep.
So very similar in that category. Chris Price, Boston Globe writer, the Patriots Report podcast. How can folks, if they want to get a little bit more insight of this matchup on Saturday night, find your podcast, Chris?
You can go to Apple Podcasts. It's available through Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcast. You can catch it there. You can also follow me on Twitter at C Price Globe. I'm at C Price Globe. You can also see my stuff at bostonglobe.com, as well as if you're fortunate enough to be able to get a newspaper. I'm also in the newspaper on a regular basis as well.
Wait. Remember, that used to be your only thing, probably, right?
Exactly.
It's like I was explaining before you came on, like 19 different ways like you can get content from this show anymore. It used to be like just a radio signal, but not anymore.
Exactly. So. What do they say in Moneyball, right? Adapt or die.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. Hey, that's good stuff. I appreciate you, Chris. Enjoy the game on Saturday.
Sounds good. Take care.
It's Chris Price right there. He's really good. There's a lot of info for you guys to take off and run with right there if you want to. No, really good. Podcast that up, 1075thefan.com. Man, he is right. There was a day when, hey, just open up the newspaper and there's my stuff, and now you got 19 different things. We have 19 different things, but we're all better for it. I like my 19 different ways, 19 different things. A lot of you are chiming in on that. A lot of you are asking me how you get tickets. A lot of you asking me for them. It does feel good, though, right? It does feel good to have that type of game. I mean, when you think about the Saturday, you're going to have the final crossroads going on in the afternoon. Now, I will advise you, the last time you had a basketball, football double dip on an afternoon against a good team, it didn't end well on either end. But we shall see coming up on Saturday. All right, Bob Kravitz was one that met with Herb Simon, Pacers owner, a little bit earlier, which has led to a great deal of confusion. And to me, a great deal of unnecessary confusion. We'll dive into that with Bob Kravitz, his thoughts on the Pacers, what Herb Simon had to say today, and what exactly he believes they're going to do. By the way, Pacers-Bucks tonight. No Giannis. Is Middleton playing? I know that he was a question mark a little bit earlier today. No Giannis. Who else is out? Wes Matthews Jr., I don't think is going to play. Brook Lopez is out tonight, I believe. Nothing on Middleton yet? I know that he was questionable with an injury situation, too. Giannis is in health and safety protocol right now, which we are seeing more and more. Yeah, cross your fingers on this. Cross your fingers. And I'm not just talking about from an NBA or a Pacer standpoint, but the NFL as well. This thing is taking flight. Let me take a break. Bob Kravitz going to join us from The Athletic to help explain exactly what Herb Simon had to say today. Which way I guess the rudder is going to be pointed for this team as well. And then a matchup with the Bucks coming up later on tonight. Do not go anywhere.
This is a sports town. You're a guy.
Or a gal.
So 1075thefan.com is your website. From the Colts to the Pacers, from IndyCar to Indy High School sports, plus coaches' interviews, event info, free stuff, and beer.
There's no beer.
My bad. Plus blogs and podcasts from Kevin and Query, Dan Dockich, and JMV. And you can always listen to us live from anywhere on planet Earth.
24 hours a day.
All at 1075thefan.com.
This is how we reinvent banking.
Say the money's gone tight in your checking account, then you crack your phone and the screen goes out. No shame in your game, we got the assist. Huntington Bank, lending money with a twist. Come to us for extra cash when you're strapped, cause it's free when you auto pay it back. Introducing Standby Cash. Extra cash when you need it, free when you auto pay it back. Huntington, welcome.
Without automatic payments, 12% APR. Eligibility requirements apply. Amount available is based on customer eligibility. Learn more at huntington.com/standbycash.
All of your plumbing needs handled by the best, and the best in this case, local. Lance and his local team at LD Smith Plumbing, 317-284-9526. No need to call anybody else because Lance and his local team, they're the best on any plumbing situation, any malfunction, anything you just want to upgrade or any emergency. And I have dealt with them on every single level. Simply put, you're not going to find anybody better. And they're local, which is the absolute best. Lance and his team at LD Smith Plumbing. This number, 317-284-9526. Tell them I sent you online, ldsmithplumbing.com today.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Score gifts for your entire list with the gift of Twin Peaks. From e-gift cards to hats and merch, they've got you covered. Visit online at twinpeaksrestaurant.com/shop. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
What if you might be thinking about a different gig? Hey, it's JMV here. So, if you have a valid Class A, B, or commercial driver's license, listen to what I have to say here, because Race Trash Service is now hiring. Yeah, Race Trash, racetrash.com, Race Trash, anything goes. They're offering industry-leading pay and benefits for qualified drivers. That's going on right now, too. They need you. They're looking for you. Rear load, front load, roll-off drivers. Check it out at racetrash.com. You know the orange trucks, right? You know the family-run business since the 1960s and the area's largest independent recycling and waste solutions provider. In addition to great driver opportunities, Ray's also has several career openings that may be a great fit for you. So much like I tell you during the Race Trash Anything Goes segments, apply online for that new gig right now at a great place, racetrash.com. That's racetrash.com today.
Gather near and bring the cheer this holiday season. Dazzle and delight the love of your life with a gift from Hellsberg Diamonds. Don't miss great prices on stunning diamond studs, tennis bracelets, gemstone rings, and the year's must-have look, gold jewelry for stacking and layering. Another reason to go to Hellsberg? Get a free Microsoft Surface Laptop Go with a purchase of $1,699 or more. Visit Hellsberg.com or a store near you today. Limited time offer while supplies last. See online or in-store for details.
Hey, your finances and savings, big deal, right? So do you have a savings goal for the new year? Forum Credit Union. They're there to help you and to do it right now, too, to meet those savings goals that you have and do it in a fun way. You can save $1,378 over 12 months. It's the Forum 52-week challenge account, and it's really easy. You can save $1 the first week, $2 the second week, keep increasing your savings amount each week, or you can save an equal amount every week. Whatever works within your budget, do it. And do it for a great reason, and really get more information on any financing advice, any savings advice. Kevin and the gang at a branch location of Forum Credit Union today. And for more regarding the savings challenge or any other savings tips they have, log on right now. That's forumcu.com.
When it comes to working at Geico, our best advocates are our employees, like Michael. But since he is so focused on growing his career, we hired an actor to read his story.
If you want a job where you get out as much as you put in, Geico is the best place to work. Plus, we promote from within, so there are no ceilings placed on your opportunities.
They even offer parental leave to full-time employees. So there's nothing stopping him from going all the way to the top. But not too high. He's scared of heights.
Ready to start your career, Indy? We're hiring claim sales and service agents. Apply online today at geico.job/Indy.
Hey, Indy, it's Kevin Bowen, and if you bet on Michigan to win the college football championship, Prop Swappers want to buy your sports bet. Michigan was 100-1 to win it all this year, and now they're just 2 wins away from holding up that trophy over at Lucas Oil Stadium. Prop Swap has thousands of buyers waiting to buy all your sports bets, and they're paying big money. Maybe you had Cincinnati to win it all at 100-1, or how about New England? The Patriots to win it all at 100-1. All these teams are selling for huge money on Prop Swap right now. So cash in right now and visit Prop Swap. Download the free Prop Swap app. And don't forget, Prop Swappers receive loyalty rewards that turn your sales into extra cash. Use the promo code ODDS, that's ODDS, on your first deposit, and Prop Swap will match your deposit up to $500. So join us. Prop Swap is where America buys and sells sports bets. Download the free app today.
I have a great idea for you this holiday season. What if you could get world-class wine at an affordable price delivered right to your door? What if you could do that? And especially this time of year when you're thinking about those gift-giving ideas for that person in your life that absolutely loves wine. And you were afforded an opportunity to get that wine from the best wineries, not just across the nation, but across the globe. What if I told you you could get that with an incredible discount? Well, listen up for the holiday season for the wine lover on your your gift list, chwine.com. You get 20% off the already great prices and free shipping when you buy 3 or more bottles. Use that promo code JMV. I just helped you out, too, because really everybody you know, most people you know in this case, love wine. What a great idea this holiday season with Cameron Hughes Wine. That's chwine.com to get that 20% off the already great prices and free shipping when you buy 3 or more bottles. Just use that promo code JMV at checkout. chwine.com.
The best pregame party for the biggest home game of the year. BullseyeEventGroup.com, the Colts VIP tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. All you can eat, all you can drink. Get tickets to the game. Log on now, BullseyeEventGroup.com.
This is a sports town. You're a guy.
Or gal.
So 1075thefan.com is your website. From the Colts to the Pacers, from IndyCar to Indy High School sports, plus coaches' interviews, event info, free stuff, and beer.
There's no beer.
My bad. Plus blogs and podcasts from Kevin and Query, Dan Dockich, and JMV. And you can always listen to us live from anywhere on planet Earth.
24 hours a day.
All at 1075thefan.com. The Ride with JMV.
It's called Sex Panther by Odeon. It's illegal in 9 countries.
It's quite pungent. It stings the nostrils.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Chris Price, Boston Globe, Patriots Report podcast. Like everybody else, you got to do 1,000 things these days. He does. Really good stuff a little bit earlier on the matchup coming up on Saturday night at Lucas Oil Stadium. Patriots and the Colts. The Patriots, winners of 7 consecutive. They also stumbled out of the gate, but have been really good. In fact, probably the best in the AFC since, mid-October, end of October. The matchup with the Colts and a big win at Lucas Oil Stadium. Chris Price Podcast, 1075thefan.com. Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila Shots coming up tomorrow. That's Coach's Tavern. We're downtown. Tommy S., Brent Holverson, and me with our Week 15 picks. Then on Friday, Whiskey Business, Southport Road. That's a Southsider. So Southport and 65 basically right there. And we're going to have Patriots Colts tickets to give away courtesy of Zinc and Bud Light Whiskey Business. And they say they have fantastic tater tots, and you know how meaningful that is to me. Friday, Bud Light Blue Friday. Whiskey Business, Southside, 65 and Southport Road. On the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, a part of a get-together with Pacers owner Herb Simon a little bit earlier today from The Athletic. Our friend Bob Kravitz joins us. Bob, I appreciate you hopping on here. What the hell's going on? What's happening here? From last week to this week.
Herb felt compelled to have a couple of writers. I think there was 5 of us. Meet up with him. He took issue, obviously, with the story that me and Shams wrote, saying that the Pacers are in fact receptive to, a soft rebuild, if you want to call it that, a retool. That they're receptive to moving some of their quote unquote core players, and he was basically saying he likes his team. He calls it his little team. And that he's not in a position right now to blow anything up. That he saw Donnie Walsh rebuild on the run. He saw Larry Bird do something similar, and he's not inclined to go that route right now. He said they're not in panic mode, but of course, you got to say that. I mean, you don't want everybody thinking there's a fire sale in Indy and you can get Miles Turner for a broken rim. So, he had what he had. He said what he had to say, and I'm sitting here trying to figure out exactly what it all means.
Yeah, well, let's do that. Let's dive a little bit deeper. Bob Kravitz on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Did it seem to you in that Q&A session a little bit earlier that he had much of a finger on the pulse of what's actually going on with that team, how they look, how they are, and what people around here think about them?
Not really, because I'm looking at one quote right here. I got the transcript right in front of me. I asked him, I asked him about a rebuild. He said, I don't want to see it. I'm sure the fans don't want to see it either. Why would we go through a rebuild when we can build on the go? That's the talent. Donnie did it all the time. Larry did it. Kevin will do it. They had a Hall of Fame player on their roster back when Donnie was doing it. I mean, Donnie drafted him. Donnie gets all the credit. He did a fantastic job. But the idea that fans don't want to see a rebuild, I think, is completely wrong. I have a better sense of the pulse of the fan than I think Herb does by virtue of what we do for a living. And I can tell you this town wants changes. They want changes desperately. And I think they're voting their pocketbooks because their attendance has been abysmal this year.
It's Bob Kravitz is with us. Yeah, I said this earlier. I think that if they would have just left it at what you and Shams had, I don't think they had any problems. I mean, no problems whatsoever. And not even when Miles came out and said what Miles said, because that's not the first time. And then, as much as I've supported Miles over the year, he's going to give you a couple of good games and then he's going to give you a bad one offensively. And unfortunately, that bad one came under the most eyeballs that the Pacers have had on them this season on Monday night when Steph Curry and the Warriors were here. I just think there's been a lot of unnecessary stuff going on here that kind of seems like to me maybe a little disarray, a little lack of complete conclusion and or path organizationally right now.
Yeah, I don't. I think it's there. Maybe there's a disconnect. I'm not telling you who I did talk to or didn't talk to, but the people like Shams and I spoke with. We had the distinct impression that this was something they were going to move forward with, and somebody forgot to send Herb the memo.
That's not good. I mean, that's not good. Yeah.
So they're not speaking with one voice, and that's fine. It's Herb's prerogative to do that. But he said a couple of things that just blew me away. Like, he said, we can get virtually any player we want here. I'm like, so I said, then why haven't you? I mean, he said, well, we got David West. David West was coming off of a surgery. He was not a tier one free agent by any stretch. Very, very good player and a terrific leader, a great guy, but, he's not a superstar. And he says we are not a small market. I'm proud of this market. That's great. But this is a small market, and there are severe limitations. And they're not going to be able to rebuild if they're in the middle. If they're continually choosing 16th in the draft or whatever number, and if they can't get free agents in here, which Herb seems to think they can get.
Yeah, and I guess part of that problem is every time Kevin Pritchard comes on the radio, he explains how difficult it is to get guys that want to come here and play and be here.
Right, exactly. I mean, I've talked. Well, with Kevin, as have you on the record, and he's said that several times. I don't think he's poor-mouthing, he's looking for an excuse. I just think it's a reality. I mean, this team does not get free agents. And Herb said, yeah, we probably couldn't get one of the top 3 or 4 players in the world, but we can get who we want to get. So, we also talked about the luxury tax and the perception that he's not willing to spend, and that's something that bothers him, clearly. I mean, that's something that he wanted to address. And look, he's been a really good owner and a great steward, and if it wasn't for him, this team would be somewhere else. But I just think this idea that you can do it the way that Donnie did it, the way that Larry did, I just don't see it happening in any form or fashion. He said we have, a hell of a team. I'm like, what the hell are you, 12-17 or whatever the record is? I haven't even looked. But, one other little thing, we were talking about the TV situation, and I said, have you considered doing anything like Mark Cuban? Mark Cuban in Dallas has worked out a way so that people will be able to get that direct TV stream, so they can watch the game for a nominal price.
Yep.
And he wasn't even aware of it. He didn't even know it existed. I'm like, hello? So, I got a call. He said, well, we'll look into that. And I got a call later from one of their representatives saying, yeah, that's not something we're going to do. Okay, fine. But how are you not aware that, the TV issue is such a big issue for your franchise, and nobody's thought to look into it, or at least Herb was not aware of it. I should say that.
That's that seems like that there's somewhat of a canyon of disconnect going on here, Bob.
Grand Canyon of disconnection. Yes,
that's not good.
And look, Donnie was great and got it done, and Larry was able to do it, and nobody wants to rebuild, and I'm not asking them to dump games and to tank and go the OKC route. But at some point in today's modern NBA, when you are a small market, which he hates, talking about, you've got to do something. You've got to bottom out at some point, or you've got to make brilliant trades. I think Kevin has done a really good job in getting good players for Oladipo and George. But
the drafting of Kevin, you can't go through that many drafts. That's what has been the undoing before anything else with him. I mean, is that so?
I would say this: they've drafted so damn late in the draft. I realize they could have had Anunoby and Collins and all that stuff. You can play that game every year. They haven't. Look at where they're drafting. How often do you find quality players, rotation players at number 17 or whatever?
But how often do you draft somebody that's playing at the YMCA now, though? That's like 5 years later. I mean, I get what you're saying, but he's got to own that up too, because that's part of being in this market. You can't go through that and miss on it. I mean, that is part of your responsibility, and I'm assuming you probably know that when you take on the gig here, at least, right?
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. And it's a weird situation. I just they've got to decide what direction they want to go in, and I honestly believe that I guess the trade window opened today. You got the trade deadline coming up in a couple of months. I have a very hard time believing that this team is going to look exactly like the team that we're seeing right now. Come January, February, March.
So Bob Kravitz from The Athletic joins us. I want to get back to something you had mentioned, because clearly, as you talked about it with what Herb had to say to you guys earlier, he's chafed about being described, defined, perceived as frugal. Talked about the luxury tax and all of that. Did anybody say, you can spend a lot of money and see if that does work for you to get some of these top players here, or spend more money? Has that been addressed, or does he still have that hard stance on never going above the luxury tax in this situation?
No, he's willing, he said, and he's done it before, in fairness to him. He is willing to go into the tax, short term, if there's a player out there who is worth that kind of money. Now, when the whole Gordon Hayward talk was going on, it's my understanding that they would have been in the tax if they were able to pull off that trade with Boston.
I'm assuming that's why they pulled out of it, right?
No. He says they're willing to do it if it makes business sense.
Okay.
If they feel that they are really close, and one more player is going to put them over the top, as they did back in the early 2000s, he's willing to do that. Again, in his defense, there's not a lot of guys clamoring to come to Indy. You love it, I love it, we all love it. But it is not a marquee market for a lot of these players. I mean, of course, it's a beautiful day today, but this is not normal.
There's no mountains, no body. Well, I mean, body of water. Not a body of water that most are looking for. Yeah, and it just, I don't know why. I guess why the Pacers would feel compelled to put that on display today. I don't. Because, again, I don't think it was necessary to me. I think that everybody would have been fine. Everybody would have moved on. I didn't think it was necessary, with the whole, Kevin Pritchard, thing about, what happened with Domas Sabonis, about, they're looking for a guy or whatever. It just seems like if you would just maybe leave this alone, that most people are kind of on board with what they're doing and we see what happens. It just seems like a lot of unnecessary stuff that really does, Bob, in your opinion, do you agree that unearths a lot of uncertainty about what's going on with a ship that hopefully is not rudderless, but that's a disconnect that can't be ignored, I don't think.
Yeah, it feels that way. And look, I can tell you, and I'm sure you heard it too from your listeners, that, after Shams and I had the story, a lot of people were excited. Like, hallelujah, they're finally going to get out of purgatory. What, they haven't gotten out of the first round since, what year, 2014? Something like that. I got to, I looked that up too. But they haven't gotten out of the first round in forever, it seems. And I think people were excited. Like, hallelujah, they're going to make some changes. And now you've got this big bucket of cold water thrown on it by the owner who says, I like my little team and I think we can go far.
Little team, man. I don't know. Anything else stand out in this conversation today? It seems like you got a lot of meat on that bone that you're going to write about in The Athletic. No question about it.
I'm looking at my transcription right now. This is interesting, and I think he's absolutely right. We were talking about why fans aren't showing up, and he said one of the things that, first we're still in the middle of this damn pandemic, which just seems to be getting worse by the day. But he said one of the problems he has is the social issue. If you remember, of course, with George Floyd, right around the beginning or middle of the pandemic, all the BLM stuff, Black Lives Matter, players speaking up, doing whatever they felt was necessary to get their message across. And that did not go over well by and large in different areas of Indianapolis and Indiana generally. We are a red state. I can tell you I play golf in Carmel, and those guys, a lot of them just turned off the Pacers and the NBA because they were so turned off by all the social issues and the racial issues. Now, I tell them they're all crazy and just enjoy it for what it is and appreciate what they're trying to get across and what this means to them. But a lot of people, because of the social issues, have turned off to the NBA, at least in this market, along with the fact you have a pandemic and the team isn't terribly good. There's a lot of issues going on. And the TV issue is just killing them. I mean, 15 to 20% of their fan base can't see the damn game on TV.
And he didn't know that.
Well, he knew that. He didn't know that there was an option that Mark Cuban has addressed by giving people a stipend so they can get it on the DirecTV stream or something along those lines. So it would have cost $2.5 million. They looked into it today when I brought it up, and they said it's not something that works for them. But I was just kind of taken aback that he wasn't aware that Mark Cuban had done that.
Yeah, it seems doesn't seem like there's much on the same page going right there, Bob. Yeah, that's a little unnerving, I think, with all that.
Yeah, a little bit. But Herb said what he needs to get off his chest, and now I'm going to do the same thing.
Yeah, it's Bob Kravitz with us. Before I let you go, Patriots and Colts coming up on Saturday nights. I mean, I know you probably, when you get a matchup like this, your email and your Twitter account probably gets fired up from the Northeast and your friends in the Northeast, right?
Yeah, they haven't forgotten me. Although some guy did a poll, who's the biggest whatever?
Yeah.
In Indianapolis, and
were you the biggest jackass in Indianapolis?
Well, they mentioned a couple of people, and I got left out.
You did.
Somebody said to this dude, "How did you forget Kravitz?" And he's like, "Oh man, my bad." I wrote him back and said, "How can you forget? How quickly they forget?" I'm the worst guy on earth.
Well, yeah. So
my fault. There's deflated.
Who's a bigger jackass than you, Bob? Come on.
Nobody. Just ask my family. So yes, I'm catching a little grief, but we'll see. I like their chance a lot on Saturday. I realize they've lost 8 games in a row, 18 points per game. I think this is going to be a little bit different. I really have. Of course, they don't have number 12 at quarter. Well, they don't have Brady at quarterback.
Hey, as somebody once said, the whole Pacer situation is clear as mud right now. Bob Kravitz presents that to you. You're gonna clear it all up, and you're gonna put it in writing, and everybody's gonna read it on The Athletic. Correct? Here soon.
I certainly hope so.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate it, Bob.
Buddy, take care.
It's Bob Kravitz of The Athletic on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Yeah. Yeah. What did I say earlier? Just leave it. I love that 80s song by Yes called Leave It. Just leave it. Just leave it. And hey, listen, I got my feeling about who gave the information to Bob. I wasn't going to put him on the spot there about his sources, but who gave that information to Bob and Shams. Yeah, how in the world would there be a disconnect? That doesn't sound good, friends. Let me take a break and we'll come back. Kevin Bowen's going to join us at the top of the hour. He's got the show in the morning with Jake Query called Kevin and Query, 7 until 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. Let me take a break. Don't go anywhere. I'm back with you next.
Kids, this holiday season, tell your parents about Forum Credit Union's Sprout of the Month contest, where you could win $100 in a Sprout account. Details at 1075thefan.com.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Pine Grove Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical advancement that has helped thousands of men. The Wave technology at Pine Grove Medical was tested by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic, and the results are in. It's proven to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED by treating the root cause, call us now. And not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, we'll also include something unique that produces immediate results in the bedroom. I think you're going to love that. This is a $600 value, free to those that call in the next 2 minutes. 317-552-1111. That's 317-552-1111. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Pine Grove Medical Clinic now to qualify. 317-552-1111.
John here, fellas. Let's make this thing easy coming up for the holiday season. Beautiful, versatile, meaningful this time of year. Let's do this thing with jewelry, too. And Diamonds Direct is going to give you a little bit of a helper because Diamonds Direct is offering 4-year zero-interest financing on any holiday purchase. One-stop shopping, great prices, incredible selection. Easy. That's the attitude we're taking this holiday season right now, and especially with the deal that they have going on. 4 years, zero-interest financing on any holiday purchase. Something you should be able to get down with this holiday season with my friends at Diamonds Direct. Holiday store hours, directions, financing details, and more online. It's DiamondsDirect.com. It's Diamonds Direct, Keystone at the Crossing.
This holiday at Metro by T-Mobile, the big 5G upgrade just got better because now Metro has the largest selection of free 5G phones in prepaid, like the Samsung Galaxy 5G. And Metro gives you 1 line of unlimited 5G data for just $25 a month, with 5G included at no extra cost. So you'll be able to stream, snap, upload, and share the holiday cheer all season. Ring in the holidays with the big 5G upgrade from Metro. Get unlimited 5G and a brand new 5G phone when you switch and trade in. More choices on free 5G phones, more savings, and more 5G coverage at no extra cost. All with the power of the T-Mobile 5G network. That's how you get more for the holidays. Only at Metro. After 24 months, $25 price may increase. Limited time in store only. No tethering. Unlimited on network only. Required port from eligible carrier if congested. Data users greater than 35 gigabytes per month notice lower speeds, and Metro customers notice lower speeds versus T-Mobile due to deprioritization. Video at 480p. See store for details.
Big Red Liquors, the big giveaway for the month of December. Have you heard? 5 they're giving away. 5 snowblowers, 59 Big Red Liquors locations. All you need to do is stop by one of those locations and sign up. Got to be 21, but there's no purchase necessary. Believe me, this time of year, holiday gift-giving ideas for that bourbon fan, that wine aficionado that's on your gift list. That should be one of the stops, too. And then you can sign up to win one of 5 snowblowers. And the big giveaway, the month of December at Big Red Liquors. For more info online, bigredliquors.com today.
Get ready, Pacers fans. Nights out are about to hit different.
Holiday off the screen. 6 of them tonight.
When we go out, we're going all out.
Turner the rebound, puts it in.
Because at the end of the day, there's nowhere we'd rather be.
It's the first Pacers Night Out presented by Coors Light on Thursday at 7. Get a ticket to Pacers-Pistons game and receive a limited edition Pacers Coors Light bucket hat and a 20-ounce Coors Light. Tickets start at $15, must be 21 to purchase. Get tickets at pacers.com/nightout.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. These days, everything seems to cost so much. How are you supposed to get by with prices so high? Here's an idea. Mortgage interest rates are sitting near these all-time low levels. And with an easy refinance, our clients, on average, save over $350 a month. Start saving today and apply online for your easy refinance at thehomeloanexpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Connecticut Water, the absolute best. Great gift-giving ideas to get that great water in your home right now. Joe, John, and Dennis, Premier Series Water Softener, and the K5 in-home drinking water station. Of course, Joe, John, and Dennis are those that can help you get those systems in your home to have the best water at great prices this holiday season. Check them out today. There are 2 area locations in Castleton. That's the northeast side. You can find them on the south side at US 31 in Southport Road, the Connecticut Water app, and online ConnecticutIndy.com today.
It's Terry Stacy for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, B&W Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drains. Owner Chris Ambrose says second opinions are important.
We want to make sure that you are confident in the service that you're getting from whoever. The diagnostic that we give you may be different from the one that you got before. What we hope is it'll give you peace of mind that you're getting the right solution for your problem.
Get your free second opinion from B&W by going to BigBlackTrucks.com. Your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
If it's after lunch, I probably wouldn't have fed him to the Titans. I get a little ornery when I'm hungry, and timing is everything, people. That's why my Sportsbook app has live in-game betting for football. I don't care if the game has already started. If the time to make your move is in the second half, go for it. Caesar's got to. Caesar likes to move freely. That's why I'm partial to the total.
Must be 21. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Crew Car Wash wash books make the perfect gift for anyone on your list. The Ultimate Book is on sale now for buy 4 washes, get 2 free. Purchased at any Crew Car Wash location today.
Soccer Saturday featuring Indy 11. If this is your football, this is your show. Saturday at 9 on The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Just an average guy with exceptional hair.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
That's my reaction right there. Bowen's going to join us at the top of the hour. Oh, no. Listen, as I told you last week, I called it a half-ass rebuild. I feel really good about saying that now because you know they're not going to rebuild. They're going to make a deal. But now this thing is 19 different directions. Yeah, I know. Joe says Bally Sports Indiana is available on DirecTV Stream. I've said that all along, and believe me, DirecTV has got some stank to it as well. Nothing is perfect. Nothing is the absolute. All I have told you in the past that if you want to watch the Pacers, you just make sure that you get the programs that you most watch. and they're going to be available to you. And for me, that's been DirecTV. But sometimes it has stank too. Now, there's no Wish TV on DirecTV. There's no whatever TV 23. What is that, the WB network or whatever that? There's none of that. So there's a little stank. The Pacers just got to give you, I guess, a reason to be motivated enough to... I've told you this before. My mom lives down in GC, and that's the reason why she has DirecTV. She had Dish Network and changed to DirecTV just to watch the Pacers. Even in the season so far that we've seen. Quick break. Bowen, other side. Hey, don't leave.
Sports Center updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Right now at your locally owned and operated Big O Tires, save up to $170 off a set of Michelin tires with your Big O credit card. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
Did you wait until the last minute to do your holiday shopping? Don't worry about it. We've got your back. At Shane Company, we do everything we can to make it easy for you. We have a wide range of unique styles in every price range. Easy last-minute gifts, like classic diamond stud earrings, stunning 3-stone rings, 14-karat gold bracelets, beautiful jewelry with colorful gemstones, as well as cultured pearls, all made with superior craftsmanship and guaranteed for life. Whatever your budget, we'll work with you to find gifts that they'll love, tied with a burgundy bow and ready to slip under the tree. Visit us in the store or shop online to get them in time for Christmas. Order last-minute gifts by December 22nd with overnight shipping. We can't wait to help you light up the holidays. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
Hey, JMV here. Struggled with snoring. I mean, it was taking over my sleeping life. No good bed rest for me. I talked to a couple of former basketball Hoosiers, Brian Evans and Dr. Steve Green, Aurora Sleep Clinic, about what they can do for me, because I've tried everything, right? So here's what they said. Come in, and we're going to set you up with a comfortable, simple, affordable, custom-fit mouthpiece. You wear it at night, and my snoring has stopped. Better bed rest. I feel much better. StopYourSnoreNow.com, or better yet, get that 7-day free trial now. 317-482-7900. Hopefully I'm speaking to you if you're struggling with snoring right now. Man, woman, whatever. Let's do something about that. Get into the Aurora Sleep Clinic. Get that 7-day free trial. 317-482-7900 today.
Hey, Indy, it's Kevin Bowen, and if you bet on Michigan to win the college football championship, Prop Swappers want to buy your sports bet. Michigan was 100-1 to win it all this year, and now they're just 2 wins away from holding up that trophy over at Lucas Oil Stadium. Prop Swap has thousands of buyers waiting to buy all your sports bets, and they're paying big money. Maybe you had Cincinnati to win it all at 100-1, or how about New England? The Patriots to win it all at 100-1. All these teams are selling for huge money on Prop Swap right now. So cash in right now and visit Prop Swap. Download the free Prop Swap app. And don't forget, Prop Swappers receive loyalty rewards that turn your sales into extra cash. Use the promo code ODDS, that's ODDS, on your first deposit, and Prop Swap will match your deposit up to $500. So join us. Prop Swap is where America buys and sells sports bets. Download the free app today.
Hey, BullseyeEventGroup.com, Colts VIP tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. All you can eat, all you can drink. You got the party going on Saturday before the Patriots and the Colts matchup. Bullseye Event Center, you got to be there. Get your passes right now. The entertainment of DJ Skids, DJ Helicon. Also, remember, you can get tickets to the game. I just talked to my good friend Kyle Cadet this week about that. Make sure you get the full meal deal in this case. Yes, the best party pregame-wise anywhere, and then tickets to the game. Log on right now to get everything set up for Saturday afternoon and night. It's BullseyeEventGroup.com.
We've done it again.
Golden Oak Lending has dropped rates even lower.
I'm James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak. With a 1.875% rate and home values up, you can get more cash out now.
Call 317-706-GOLD today and make no mortgage payments until next year.
Golden Oak Lending, cured my blues.
NMLS 114937, 1.875% fixed, 2.952% APR, FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Hey, you know me. Well, you know this. Raise trash. Anything goes. We do that all the time for good reason because it is fantastic. You guys love it. Now, how about a new career? If you have a Class A, B, or commercial driver's license, Raise Trash Service is now hiring. Industry-leading pay and benefits for qualified drivers is what you're going to get for your career choice. Rear load, front load, roll-off drivers, raisetrash.com for more information and to apply today. The area's largest independent recycling and waste solutions provider and family-run since the 1960s. They're just a group you can trust and you'd want to be a part of. Also, if you're not a driver, if you want another opportunity, they have those for you at Raise as well. Apply today, raisetrash.com, and listen for Raise Trash. Anything goes. You get more info and to apply today, raisetrash.com.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
The Pacers hit the road to face the defending NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks tonight at 7:30 on 93.5 and 107.5, The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
JMV does not suck at all.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
Pacers Bucks tonight, 7:30. No Giannis. I haven't heard yet regarding Chris Middleton, but hey, have more than a garden variety of dudes out. So if you're the Pacers going up there for the first time in forever, it'd be a good night to get a win against the Bucks. That Bob Kravitz a little bit earlier. If you missed the podcast, 1075thefan.com. He was one of maybe less than a handful, maybe around 5 local writers that met with Herb Simon a little bit earlier today, which I think leaves us more in the mystery of what the hell is going on and what they're doing and if they're on the same page than ever before with this Pacer organization right now. And to discuss that, Patriots, Colts on Saturday night, Kevin Bowen. It's Kevin and Query, weekday morning, 7 until 10 a.m. here on 93.5 and 107.5, The Fan. I just talked to Bob Kravitz, and there was some like cringe-worthy stuff going on in that conversation about what Herb Simon questions-wise was answering compared to where this team is, what Kevin Pritchard has said before. If there was a mystery, there's even more so of one after this afternoon, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's honestly an understatement, John. Again, based off what I've read so far, and I did catch a little bit of you and Bob earlier, I'd say Herb Simon's pretty out of touch with this fan base right now in terms of what they want. You know, my emotions, and I think this kind of coincides with a lot of what the fan base thought, was when, you know, Bob and Shams originally had that report last week. You know, I think there was a lot of intrigue, a lot of excitement, a lot of fans, you know, realizing, you know, this isn't working. Do something different to try and, you know, get back to the level that, you know, you were with Larry or Donnie or whoever. And now I hear what Herb just said today, and I'm thinking to myself, this is so dull. This is the definition of insanity. It's, again, an owner that's extremely out of touch with his fan base. And again, maybe not even just the fan base, John, like just out of touch of what's working. Like, he used the word happy to describe, you know, how fans are about a team that's 13th in the Eastern Conference right now, and, you know, a team that's on a third different coach in 3 years, and that coach is questioning effort, and the attendance is awful, and, you know, there's players that have gone to the media and aren't happy with roles and whatnot. So, yeah, that was very disheartening, honestly, to hear Herb Simon you know, give that, you know, statement today. And clearly I assume Bob got the info he did off the record from Kevin Pritchard.
Yeah, that's exactly what I assume. That's why I don't know how the owner doesn't know what it makes. And I said this, Kevin, if everybody just would be quiet You know, I mean, that report was out there. Leave it. I mean, the rumor that, that Kevin got that out there with Bob and Shams because they knew that the Miles stuff was coming out and they, didn't want the egg on their face from Miles. Well, that wasn't going to be egg on their face any more than what they are wins and loss wise right now. They're going to make a deal, in my opinion, at some point. It wasn't going to be a rebuild, and you can just leave it at that. But to me, they've messed this up completely just by not being quiet. I don't understand it.
Yeah, there was zero need for Herb Simon to talk to the media today, in my opinion. I don't see what he cleared up or anything along those lines. I'm confused as hell, to be honest with you. Going back to your earlier point, it seemed like Miles was getting ready to have this story. Kevin catches wind of it. Jared Weiss from The Athletic contacts Kevin and wants to talk to him about it. So, boom, again, and I'm assuming here, someone in upper management starts to leak that to Bob. Well, Herb comes out today, and now he's pretty much saying whatever was leaked to Bob is totally not true. Well,
yes, I know.
Those people in your organization doing that
then Kevin clumsily said what he said regarding James Boyd and the Domus situation of last week. I mean, this is just foul up after foul up right now.
Yeah, it really is. And not to mention, well, I guess it's better than talking about, 12 and 17 and 13th in the Eastern Conference.
Well, and listen, hey, Kevin, that's a great point because I said this earlier. I mean, you had a couple of things going for you. You had a team that was bad so far, a team that a lot of people were not either watching or incapable of watching because of the lack of coverage. But they were out there, during the teeth of the Colts season, and they were being talked about, right? And all of a sudden people thought, okay, so what could you do with this roster? And now it's gone from that because of all this other unnecessary conversation to, do these guys know what the hell they're doing from the top on down?
Yeah, that's a very fair question to be asked. Sad that you have to ask it, but yeah, I think it's a totally fair question. There are a couple things I guess that stood out to me, John. For one, when he referenced, I think Donnie was able to kind of rebuild on the go, and Larry did it as well. I'm like, well, Donnie drafted Reggie Miller, and Larry drafted Paul George. Like, who is Kevin drafted that all of a sudden is this cornerstone piece that you're building around? And Reggie, a top 10 player in the NBA at that time. Paul, certainly, I think in that same realm at that time when you made those runs. You don't have that now. Again, the other thing is when he uses, when he believes the fan base does not want to rebuild, that continues to me to be extremely out of touch. No one loves tank, but like you said, John, this is not a tank situation. I firmly believe.
I think it's going to make a deal, and they were going to make a deal, I think, regardless, especially where they are right now in the East, and that to me, it makes sense to me. But yeah, they weren't going to tank, and there wasn't going to be now. And that disconnect between what appears to be team president and the owner, I don't know how that thing is going to be smoothed over by Kevin jumping on Twitter here in the next hour. I don't know how that happens.
Yeah, that's weird. I always thought Kevin was in the good pocket of Herb, and boy, what's transpired today, I mean, Herb didn't obviously say anything questioning Kevin. He backed him, I believe, but their words are definitely different. Again, assuming Kevin is who leaked that info to Bob. The other thing that stands out to me, John, is like, again, our fan base doesn't want to tank, blah blah blah. They're happy. I'm like, who is happy with 7 straight years of not winning a playoff series? Like, how the Pacers are viewed is this team that's like typically above average. They haven't even been above average. They've been below average in that time span. You've lost 9 straight playoff games. Again, haven't won a playoff series since 2014. Like, when you start to throw that out there, in what way, shape, or form can Herb Simon be pleased with the product and the continued run it back, and change coaches, and that'll be the answer? Clearly it's not. So I'm extremely, extremely disheartened and bummed, and hopefully this is not what happens here the next 2 months, because I think if you go through these next 2 months and you don't make a move, that's a massive missed opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'd have to see the moves. I'm not bummed, I guess. I'm confused. I'm really confused by this, and I wasn't last week. Know what I mean? And I don't think anybody else was either. I mean, I think this level of confusion and now questioning, those that are making decisions from top to bottom, I think is logical. The other thing, Kev, that was mentioned, at least from Bob to me, was, clearly Herb was chafed about, the frugal handlings of this team, the money that he spends not going above the luxury tax and, believing you can get, players to come here, high-level players to come here. Well, I'm kind of curious if anybody in that setting said, okay, well, you know what? Maybe they will come here if you offer them more money. Are you willing to do that?
Yeah, that's a fair point. And him trying to label David West and Malcolm Brogdon as these massive stars that came here, again, extremely out of touch in the description of both of those two players at the point they came here. So, yeah, that way. I mean, honestly, again, from what I've read and what I've listened to so far, there's not one thing that I agree with him on. And you can go a variety of topics. We haven't even brought up the whole streaming Bally Sports. All of that. I mean, that's another topic where I'm just
and that's Bob said that. Yeah, he did. Yeah, apparently that. Then if you guys are listening right now and didn't know this, apparently Kevin, make sure I got this accurately, because Bob told us last segment that he was unaware that there was a way that you could stream and get those eyeballs that are missing this right now. Now there are other ways too. If you just want to, jump on board a different support or supplier of your content, you can do that. But he was unaware of, I guess, the path that Mark Cuban has taken with the Mavericks was available, and since that point in time, from what Bob said, Pacer folks had shot down that as being an option.
Yeah, and just another, extremely out of touch. And again, I if I'm not mistaken, I believe Cuban has given some money to fans, I believe, to help them, and Dallas fans to help them with whatever streaming component they need for their local games. So that is what Herb wasn't aware of. And I'm just like, man, even if you aren't aware of it, don't say that. I mean, it's just a horrible look. And I know Herb, but there's probably been moments as a franchise where he could have moved it, and I'm sure, and I do believe he's done a lot of good for this community. But right now, I hate to say it, but I just read a lot of stubbornness out of it, and a lot of, I've done it my way for X amount of years, and we're not changing, and I'm the longest tenured owner in the NBA, and I'm going to be stubborn about it.
Yeah, it's weird, and while I get what you're saying there, I just I'm more concerned about this group not being on the same page with anything right now, and maybe they are, and maybe this is just this huge scheme to keep everybody kind of a little off base, but it doesn't seem like that they're on the same page. And again, if they would have just kept it as it was last week, even with the Miles comments, nobody cared about that really. I guess I'm kind of the only one, and I've talked about it for 3 years, and the whole thing has kind of worn me out like class basketball discussion did decades ago. But at some point, to me, he's going to be traded. At some point, they are going to trade a couple of players, and it's not a part of rebuilding. It's just a part of making a deal, and they're going to move forward with that. But, now I think you add a lot more confusion, and it's done, unfortunately, completely unnecessarily to me.
Yeah, because, again, I always felt like Kevin and Herb were on the same page, but it feels like, to me, Kevin wanting to get his side of things out last week, I'm pretty sure I have this correctly, there was some sort of part in Bob and Sham's story where he specifically mentioned, again, Bob or Shams, that Kevin has wanted to rebuild, but Herb has not wanted.
Yeah, that was true. Yeah, that's what was written.
So, yes. This obviously is kind of continuing that of Kevin getting his side of it out of there, and then Herb coming back today and debunking that theory of, and I just don't I'd be super curious to know what Herb's motive for today was. Does he think that he's
was he chafed?
Fan basis?
Was he chafed about how he's being portrayed here?
But chafed it. But I guess a little bit from a financial sense, and he's tight pocketed and whatnot. But to me, he did nothing to calm fans' worries, concerns, fears. He didn't even sniff that. Honestly, he probably made it worse. So I don't understand. And it's not like he publicly was like, ripping Kevin or anything. I mean, it seemed like the few comments he did have about Kevin, he continued to back him and believe that, Kevin will continue to rebuild on the run and things like that. Maybe he's so against the whole tank word that, like, he just wanted, he thinks that when people hear rebuild, they hear tank. But no, I think they're two, what the Sixers did, what the Thunder are doing, that is tanking. I don't think anyone is saying the Pacers need to tank. Do they need to make some retooling and try and get somewhere in the lottery here, higher up in the lottery? Yeah, but that doesn't mean you need to go out and try and win 30 games for 3 straight years or anything like that. I think there are some nice pieces on this roster, but I think there are some other pieces that are a bit kind of stale and maybe would excel better elsewhere with how the roster is constructed. So you make those moves, you get younger, you get more athletic on the wings, you get more dynamic, you get to a point where on the roster your late game play is not dribbling the ball out of bounds or, Malcolm Brogdon, hot potato over to Karis LeVert. Like, if you can find some answers there, then all of a sudden I don't think this is a 5 to 7 year process like other teams have done.
Boy, if you, I guess if you wonder how that's going between owner and president and or executives, you really kind of wonder what's going on with the thought of those players in that locker room. Because, I mean, I had heard before, and this goes all the way back to the whole Diva Oladipo saga, that players and team president haven't always been on the same page, but because that's who they play for, begrudgingly go through it. Now, obviously, it seems like Herb is still a huge fan and has a great deal of confidence in Kevin. I don't know if that is the case throughout that team.
Yeah, that's a good point. It just seems like very different messages, John, from owner, president, and even head coach. And then we're not even factoring in, some disconnect potentially within that locker room. I don't think it's that major. But if you're in this locker room right now and you listen to those comments, you got to be confused there as well. Of just like, wait, I thought, Kevin and Rick Carlisle brought the 4 veterans of Sabonis and Turner and LeVert and Brogdon, brought them together after practice and said, yeah, guys, your name, you might hear them in trade talks. Whereas Herb comes out today and he's like, no. Like, none of that has happened. So, like, who's right here? Kevin and Rick, confronting their guys and being like, hey, this could happen. We would love to try and win with this group, but over the next, 2 months, you're probably going to hear it. Whereas Herb's like, nope, we are not rebuilding. We're not tanking, blah, blah, blah. Again, if they don't make a move, John, here in the next 2 months, get used to this franchise continuing to be in the below average category. It's been over the last, probably really 3 to 4 years.
Hey, Gear Shift here with Kevin Bowen from the morning show with Kevin and Query, 7 until 10 a.m., 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan. Kev's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So Bobby Okereke, a second missed practice because of an illness, non-COVID related. How's everything looking with that in mind?
Yeah, that's weird. He talked to the media on Monday, John, and obviously looked fine to us. They also brought up a linebacker from their practice squad this week, Malik Jefferson. I think they actually did that today. Now, Zaire Franklin is still on the COVID list. Now, he could be back, but still, he's still on the COVID list right now. So, it's not like you play with a ton of linebackers on the field, but I just think it's something to monitor the rest of the week because clearly they felt the need to make one linebacker move already this week. Was that because Franklin might not play on Saturday night? Was it because Franklin and Okereke both might not play? So, I mean, if you're New England, you're Belichick. If there's a position that honestly has not great depth or very unproven depth, is probably the better way to say it, it would be linebacker. So, does Belichick and Josh McDaniels, do they think, okay, let's alter the game plan a little bit and, try to get the Colts to play more 3 linebacker sets and test their depth there and run it against them and things like that? That's kind of a thought that's popped in my head. So, it's pretty rare to see a guy on the injury report multiple days due to an illness. If he practices tomorrow, I would think he'd be able to give it a go, but still, based off them making a roster move as well, it's got my attention maybe more than most would.
Hey, Kev, did Belichick really say that he is, he and they as a staff, they are scouting off of Hard Knocks?
I watched the Belichick presser and his answer to that question, I did not infer that whatsoever. I inferred of like,
why is it being written here then? Why are people taking it that direction?
Like, is there some intern in that building that is watching Hard Knocks for the Patriots? Sure. Yes, if I was a head coach of a football team, I would have that. What is he, cool drone shots of the team facility? Like, Darius Leonard's daughter loves Sprite? Like, what in the world could he be learning that's going to help him game plan for the Colts? Like, I don't – it's a total non-story for me. Again, I listened to the Belichick answer. I didn't get that at all whatsoever, and after watching the first 4 episodes,
Somewhere Bill Polian saying, "I told you so. See, that's why you don't do it."
I think watching film of 13 games is probably going to get you a little bit more intel than, oh boy, Darius Leonard just ran into the wall as he walked into the team facility.
Oh, wait a minute.
Today.
Who are these two big morning nerds on here right now to lead this off? And how can that lead us, scouting-wise, to a win on Saturday?
Right. Is this bulletin board material? Let's get Jake Clary and Kevin Bowen in our team meeting.
The guy running that board has a lot of calluses on his right hand. That's weird.
Yeah, exactly. I just had someone message me on Twitter about this. Like, I don't know if you saw this question asked, but Belichick's watching Hard Knocks to scout the Colts. What the? I mean, you talk about a waste of time. There's no way.
Listen, though, we embrace it, don't we? I mean, that's it. It just kind of adds to it a little bit, right? I mean, should we not embrace that? I mean, even if it's absolutely untrue, I hope it is true, but even if it's absolutely untrue, I mean, let's embrace it. It makes it even more fun to me.
I am all for embracing the rivalry. Again, the rivalry here is different than the rivalry in New England, but I was saying this earlier in the week, John. Like, I don't know who runs the video boards anymore at Lucas Oil, if it's Mike Stevens or who's running that in the stadium. I mean, I'm throwing Josh McDaniels on that video board as much as I can. I'm throwing Belichick on that video board. Rile up this fan base. You don't have the Brady element to it. You still got two guys that this fan base hates a whole lot. So, hopefully you don't need to kind of go that route to, rile up 60,000 and create a hell of an atmosphere, which I think it'll be on Saturday night. But I am all for building up, creating more, hatred, venom, whatever you want to call it. So, sure, if Colts fans want to be pissed about it and are thinking that Bill and his wife are on the couch tonight watching Hard Knocks at 10 o'clock, sure, if it makes a cheer ladder on Saturday, I'm all for it.
You think at Gillette, if the tables are turned, they would put the fourth down call up there, or Jonas Gray running for 5 billion yards, or who was it that Gronkowski ran over defensively? One of the last times they were here.
Was it Sergio Brown? He threw out the club.
Was it Sergio Brown? Was it the two claps and Ric Flair guy?
Yeah.
That's who it was?
I think, who is a former Patriot. The funny thing, John, is, and I know you don't nerd out on this at all, so each team sends out a press release for their game that week. So the Colts, their front of their press release, it highlights some notable facts about their team this year. Number 1 rushing offense in the league, Jonathan Taylor, leading rusher, et cetera, et cetera. On the front of the Patriots press release this week, they have that if New England scores 30 points or more on Saturday, they will become the first team in, I believe, 50 years to score at least 30 points in 9 straight games against a single opponent. Like,
wow.
You want to talk about, now that's a wild stat. That's some bulletin board material. Now, I don't know if Bill Belichick is proofreading what the Patriots press release is each week, but first off, it's a damning stat. It goes to show you how big brother, little brother this has been. That fact that they've scored at least 30 in 8 straight games. But think about the history of the NFL. 50 years, you have to go back that far to find one opponent scoring that many, on a semi-annual basis against a team. So New England is going down that path. Not a lot of ammo here to go down that path, but again, controlling some images and Lucas Oil on Saturday, I'm all for it.
Hey, did you read the latest in the soap opera that is Urban Meyer and the Jacksonville Jaguars, with former kicker Josh Lambo saying he was kicked by Urban Meyer during warm-ups? Have you read that one?
Say that again, no. Urban Meyer kicked his kicker?
He kicked his kicker during warm-ups, is apparently. Lambeau reported the incident to the team's legal counsel through his agent, but never met with him.
Oh, my God. I mean, there's no way Urban's a coach the final game of the year against the Colts, right?
Oh, probably.
Gosh, Lambeau.
Yeah, probably. Lambeau was approached by the head coach, Urban Meyer, who doesn't call Jaguar specialists by their names. It was kicker, punter, long snapper, Lambeau said, or blank bag, or dip blank, or whatever the hell it was.
Oh, my God.
I'm in a lunge position, left leg forward, right leg back. Lambeau said, Urban Meyer, while I'm in the stretch position, comes up to me and says, hey, dip blank, make your blanking kicks, and then kicks me in the back of the leg.
Oh, my God.
That's funny. I mean, it's funny both ways, but what a crap show that is. That's great.
Unbelievable. I mean, there's got to be video of that. I mean, before a game, I mean, there's cameras everywhere in a stadium. Someone's got to find that. That is so funny and so pathetic at the same time.
It is. It's a great soap opera. It's the gift that keeps on giving. It is. And no doubt about that. All right, what do you two got going coming up tomorrow morning? Anything?
God bless the AFC South and the dysfunction within the division. We got Steve Trout, director of Hard Knocks.
Yep.
So we have him on every Thursday, so he'll be recapping episode 5 tonight. We're talking with various Crossroad Classic people. So we got Rob Blackman tomorrow as well. I know you had Bob earlier. We'll have Scott Agnes, who is also in on that Herb Simon sit down, and we'll get Scott's thoughts on.
That was a little weird too, by the way. Was it that particular group and nobody invited from Valley Sports Indiana that covers the team? Weird.
Really? So who were the 5? Doyle,
Kravitz, Wheat, what's his nuts? Agnes, and then Tony East, I think.
Tony East, that's right.
Hotchkiss, yeah. So
yeah.
And what's his nuts is an endearing term for me, by the way, too. So
yeah, I know. Yeah, Wheat's a great dude. Wow, that is weird. Yeah, I would think
there was nobody from.
Somebody would be.
Yeah. Be interesting how they're going to handle that before the Bucs game tonight too. I mean, are they going to quote some of these writers? I guess.
Right, isn't that some 7:30 content leading into the tip tonight? So yeah, it's weird, John. That's things are not being run very smoothly over there on old Delaware right now.
No doubt about that. All right, Kev, you and Jake tomorrow morning at 7. Have a great one, buddy. Thank you.
All right, John. I'll talk to you next week.
Quick break, and we'll come back. I'm way over. I got time for you at 239-1070. Dial that number, and let's talk next.
We've done it again.
Golden Oak Lending has dropped rates even lower.
I'm James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak. With a 1.875% rate and home values up, you can get more cash out now.
Call 317-706-GOLD today and make no mortgage payments until next year.
Golden Oak Lending, cured my blues.
NMLS 114937, 1.875% fixed, 2.952% APR, FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
5 snowblowers they're going to give away. Big giveaway from Big Red Liquors month of December. Just go buy one of the 59 locations and sign up with no purchase necessary. Got to be 21, but believe me, you're going to go by there anyway because the great gift-giving ideas this time of year can be found at Big Red Liquors. And how about winning one of 5 snowblowers they're giving away? The big giveaway for the month of December, my friends at Big Red Liquors. Got to be 21. You can sign up at any of the 59 Big Red Liquors locations. For more info online, BigRedLiquors.com.
And that's when I realized it's called a hamburger, not a handburger, because you carry it with your hand. I was wrong, people. It's like that time I thought I couldn't make the perfect app for football. I was wrong again, people. All I had to do was make a sportsbook app where you can earn season rewards all Sunday long. Nobody's better at bettering things than Caesars.
Must be 21. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Forum Credit Union, great savings ideas, 52-week challenge, and so much more, including the Sprout account. Great ways to help you financially, great ways to help you save. Advice-wise, it's what you need. Slide by a branch location. Tell Kevin and the gang that I sent you for more info. That is forumcu.com today.
The problem with New Year's resolutions? They're hard to keep and not so much fun.
But if you're looking to make better financial decisions in the new year, here's a radio show that can help you get there and enjoy the ride. Tune in the weekend of January 1st for the premiere of Everyday Wealth with Soledad O'Brien and Gene Chatsky, presented by Edelman Financial Engines. Each week, award-winning journalist Soledad O'Brien and personal finance expert Gene Chatsky will explore how our financial decisions shape our everyday lives and why wealth is about more than just money. They'll be joined by Edelman Financial Engine's wealth planners and other guests to help demystify challenges like generational planning, retirement income, and tax-efficient investing. New episodes of Everyday Wealth will air every weekend and will be available on major podcast platforms. For airtimes, visit everydaywealth.com.
Fellas, I'm always here to hand out the great Christmas gift-giving idea, the advice for your significant other. Are you ready? JMV here, just in time for Christmas. The next best thing to wearing nothing at all. Soft and silky, naturally nude pajamas available exclusively at Pajamagram. What an original idea. She will love it, and you will too. And best of all, Pajamagram does the wrapping for you. I can't wrap anything, right? And you can't either, so free gift packaging. Order now, guaranteed delivery by Christmas. Make sure you do it right now before they get sold out. You've been wanting to know, what can I do? I need an original idea. How about an original idea that is sexy for right now? You're going to dig it too. Pajamagram.com. Again, Pajamagram.com. Naturally nude pajamas. Pajamagram.com. Tell them JMV sent you.
Bet Rivers Sportsbook is ready to make this football season one to remember. All season long, you can score at Bet Rivers Sportsbook with free bets, odds boosts, and more. With player props, thousands of game lines, and live in-game betting, Bet Rivers Sportsbook delivers a best-in-class sports betting experience and has an experienced customer service team to back it up. Visit Bet Rivers Sportsbook today and bet this football season with the local trusted team that puts you first. Go to BetRivers.com and be a winner. Partner of French Lick Casino Resort. Must be 21 or over to play. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 1-800-994-8448. Playable only in Indiana.
Hey, I trust my plumbing to one person, one group. That's local. They're the best. It's Lance and his team at LD Smith Plumbing. 317-284-9526. And you know what? I put it to the test. I have, because I've done a variety of things in my home. And then on a February morning, back when it was 5 below this past year or earlier this year, I had no water. Again, a Sunday morning, 7 a.m., they got out there. Everything was fixed up before noon. That's emergency plumbing service that you can always count on. They're the best and they're local. It's Lance and his team at LD Smith Plumbing. 317-284-9526 or online. That's ldsmithplumbing.com today.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, B&W Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drains. Co-owner Beth Rovazini has a great suggestion on what you should do if you're not sure whether to repair or replace that old furnace.
Just go to our website, bigbblacktrucks.com, and look for the HVAC Repair Replace Guide. It's a free download, and you fill it out, and then you'll know whether you should do that repair or replace it.
Call B&W at 317-751-2325 or go to bigbblacktrucks.com. B&W is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
With an easy refinance, our clients on average save over $350 a month. TheHomeLoanExpert.com.
NMLS number 1326241.
The Ride with JMV.
And you can tell Rolling Stone magazine that my last words were, I'm on drugs.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, tomorrow's Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila Shots. Why don't you guys join us there tomorrow? Me, Brent Holverson, that's Tommy S. Coach's Tavern, Week 15 picks. Little Larceny Bourbon flowing there. Let's do that coming up tomorrow. And then Friday, by the way, Patriots Colts tickets. Bud Light Blue Friday is at Whiskey Business Southside, 65 and Southport Road. Our friends from Zinc will be out there. It shall be a blast. Bowen Kravitz from the Boston Globe, Chris Price and Matt Taylor, voice of the Colts a little bit earlier. Podcast 1075thefan.com, 239-1070. Tony is up first today. First time we've gone to the phones because we've been busy. Tony, bring us a little something here late in the 5 o'clock hour. What's up?
Well, late in the 5 o'clock hour, I would like to talk about the Pacers, and I'm wanting to know why all the talk is always about the players, which is rightfully so also, but, we're bringing in a bunch of role players, and then we're judging them like we've got superstars. Like, there's absolutely, positively no chance of us winning the championship,
right?
And the owner doesn't bring us those types of players. So why isn't all the heat on that instead of talking about how soft Miles Turner is or what these guys aren't doing? I mean, it's a bonus. I can't even believe we were able to hold on to him.
Well, I think that's part of the point that we were making a little bit earlier with Herb Simon meeting with the media. It sounds like that just by reading what had been written about, him not spending money, not going above the luxury tax threshold, just being, conservative with his fundage to many with this team. My point, and I think Bob had mentioned this to me as well, that he felt that maybe he was a little bit chafed about it. That's one of the reasons why he wanted to meet with folks and say, hey, this is what we do. This is what we've done in the past. The problem is it doesn't really equate to how this team looks right now. I mean, to me, there's no, turning the table, getting somebody in here that all of a sudden is going to take this team to a different level than what has performed so far. But it was clear to me that something happened where he was a little bit chafed and wanted to get his side of the story out there today.
Yeah, well, he should be. I don't understand why. And I've been in Indiana my entire life.
Sure.
Always a Pacer fan. 45 now, and I'm finding it real hard to take my money down there. I mean, if you go down there with your kids and wife, you're looking at $500, $600, $700 for a night of basketball. And I just like the fans are going into the luxury tax in order to support this team. We need to put pressure on him in order to start bringing us players of that caliber. And correct me if I'm wrong. Before Paul George left, wasn't he saying basically get me some help and I'll stay?
Yeah, and then all surrounded about Anthony Davis. Is what that's surrounded. But yeah, I mean, listen, these guys haven't handled things great. There's no doubt through a lot of this, but he pulled jackassery too. So I'm never going to give him the benefit of the doubt on that.
All right. Well, like I said, Simon needs to get us those types of players. I mean, I guess you can expect lightning in the bottle like the Pistons did, but
listen, I agree with you. Hey, Tony, I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that too. I'm just this whole thing. I mentioned how clumsy Kevin was with his words regarding what they're looking for in that player, that real star type of player. The whole handling of the past week. If you would have just left it at a Shams and a Kravitz report, I think everybody would have been fine with it. But instead, now, you clumsily go through this past week where it's a huge mystery and everybody wonders if there's a disconnect between the owner and the team president and the team. It's just not a good look, and it's completely unnecessary.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm going to have to look into that. I hadn't heard anything about that talk. I know normally when we're talking, I'm listening to sports talk radio, it's a lot of heat put on the players, and like I said, rightfully so, but I just like to hear some more heat.
No, and there is no doubt. There is no doubt that Kevin Pritchard's also on the hook for this too. Because Kravitz and I were talking about this a little earlier, saying, well, they've drafted in the mid-teens or wherever. Doesn't matter. I mean, when you sign on to do this gig, you have to hit. You cannot have one guy, that no longer is in the league that's playing, in the YMCA somewhere right now. Or, you look at Goga and he's trying to get minutes up in Fort Wayne in the G League right now. There have been so many swings and misses there. And in this market, you can't afford to have them. And up until Duarte, you didn't get them.
Yeah, I like to see us get a coach, make a good decision on a coach, and stay with him for a little bit and stop.
Yeah, well, Rick's not going anywhere. There's no doubt about that. Rick's not going to go anywhere. But and thank you, Tony, for the call. The thing I wonder about Rick is, you guys on the same page with me on this? I mean, I think everybody trusts him as a coach, and I know that he wasn't out there, and it was Lloyd Pierce the other night against Golden State. But we always talk about how the Pacers don't have a late game guy to go to. Okay, fine. I haven't seen them with any late game play to go to. Am I the only one that would raise my hand and say that their late game play calls have been crap? Am I the only one? Anybody else on the same page with me? I understand that you don't have a guy or, a killer or whatever anybody wants to call somebody that is willing and able to not only take, but to more than likely make a late game shot for the win. But I mentioned this yesterday. It's not like that coaching wise in those late game situations, they have covered themselves in glory. I mean, is it all lack of execution? So Monday night, when you have Brogdon, you want to get Brogdon and Sabonis into something, right? Brogdon has the ball. Draymond Green switches out on him. That blows up your entire play. You have 13.4 on the clock to do something. So the result of that, Draymond Green doing that defensively, blows up your play, and then you get Karis LeVert dribbling the air out of the basketball, then ultimately losing it out of bounds. Yeah, I don't think that play calling late in games, I think that has been equally as bad as the late game performances from this Pacer team. That's just me. I'm just kind of curious if anybody else would agree with me on that. Ted's at 239-1070. Ted, welcome to the show. Ted, hello.
Hello?
Hello, Ted. I'm here for you.
Oh, it's Tim. Sorry. I didn't recognize when you said Ted. So.
Hello. What's your name, Ted or Tim?
Tim.
All right. Tim, I said Ted, so that's why you wouldn't recognize it. So
it makes sense. Yeah.
Tim, you go. You're not Ted, it's Tim. Hello.
Hey, hello. It's great talking to you. I love listening to the show.
Thank you, bud.
And what I want to talk about, everybody's wanting to talk about the Pacers, the Colts, that kind of thing. I want to go back to something that happened that Ray talked a little bit on in your absence on Monday, and that's Carmel and Center Grove being voted out of the mix, and how the dominoes will fall and where things are going to go from there. And Greg made a point about how you see it a lot in college athletics, and I'm wondering your thoughts on all this. You live in the land of Center Grove down there and have had a lot of contacts there. I'm curious your thoughts about
I haven't asked anybody, but I've talked to enough folks that certainly cover it. I think Kyle Nedrin for the Stars has been all over it, and Greg was on the show with us yesterday and talked about it as well, is that it's more about those, it's not about basketball or football in the mix with Center Grove and with Carmel. It's about the other sports that they want to have a higher level of competition with. That's how it was explained to me. And it was also explained to me that the wheels were in motion for this going all the way back to midsummer, July, early August, something like that. So it wasn't surprising, I guess, to anybody except for those out there that kind of were sideswiped by it earlier this week.
Yeah, Ray seemed to have some insider-type information that he didn't quite share on the air, but from his contacts with his other work. But, I just wondered if it, might have to do with a money thing, or, I'm also curious how they might fill those two voids in the mix. Any thoughts on who might fill in those spots?
It's weird. Thank you, Ted, for the call. I don't know who's going to end up being in the mix. I think we all kind of know where Carmel and where CG want to end up. I think they had their meeting yesterday, I believe, down at Franklin Central. So, I don't think there's anything that, a lot of people want to look at a variety of different things, but as it was explained to me, it was more something they wanted to do. It wasn't about basketball, it wasn't about football. And then the Mick took the opportunity in finding out that these guys wanted to bail and went ahead and kicked them out. Jim asked this, the entire Luka Rick Carlisle thing doesn't bother you even a little bit. Here's what I will say about that. Superstar player, 10 times out of 10 will always win over head coach. Even a head coach that's won a title. Is it right? Nah. Is Luka out of shape right now? Yeah. Did they want a new start? Is Jason Kidd good at what he does? Probably. But I guess it doesn't bother me as much because that's kind of the landscape. You get a superstar player, the superstar player is going to win. You get an elite level talent, it's going to win over a head coach every time. And I guess, Jim, I would put it this way. Those that either don't get it, don't like it, or won't watch the NBA because of it, you may have to go back to the 60s. Because that's going to win every time at that level. But yeah, I mean, it's the normal silliness when you have a split in the fashion in which they did with a guy that had won a title and had been very successful in Dallas. And with a very young, probably immature, but you can tell by the way of his shape right now that he's still immature, but talented nonetheless. Non-surprising, I guess, Jim, non-surprising is how I describe it. Quick break, we'll come back. Final time next. The best pregame party for the biggest home game of the year. BullseyeEventGroup.com, the Colts VIP tailgate, presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. All you can eat, all you can drink. Get tickets to the game. Log on now, BullseyeEventGroup.com.
Join us on The Fan and listen to Jason Hammer on You Bet with Bet Rivers, 7 to 8 p.m. on Thursdays, where you can get all the betting advice you would ever need.
We've done it again.
While other lenders are talking about raising their rates, our expert team at Golden Oak Lending has dropped rates even lower.
I'm James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak. With the low rate of 1.875% and home values at all-time highs, you can get more cash out of your home or eliminate pricey mortgage insurance.
Call 317-706-GOLD today to get your refinance started within minutes and make no mortgage payments until next year.
After all, our team speaks mortgage and loves translating it for customers. We can save you even more money with our 1.875% rate.
Plus, you'll never pay up front for your appraisal at Golden Oak. Call 317-706-GOLD today.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
NMLS 114937, 1.875% fixed, 2.952% APR, FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Hey, JMV here. My guys John and Chris Love Heating and Air. Cold weather is going to set in at some point. Make sure that your heating system, your furnace is tuned up and safe, running efficiently and good to go for the cold winter ahead. That's why my friends, the best at Love Heating and Air, they're going to offer you this. They're going to waive the $95 trip and diagnostic fee, just making sure that your system is good to go for the winter months ahead. Again, they're going to waive the $95 trip and diagnostic fee if you call right now. Love Heating and Air, 317-754-0754. Tell them I sent you. That's online, love-hvac.com today.
Light up the holidays with a gift from Shane Company.
Elegant two-tone blue topaz earrings and the matching bracelet to complete the look, because she completes you.
A stylish bangle bracelet covered in a rainbow of vibrant sapphires, because you want to give her something that'll bring her joy every day.
A show-stopping cocktail ring with a vibrant yellow citrine, because she's your sunshine.
Come to Shane Company for the broadest selection of unique fine jewelry. We have gifts in every price range. One of my favorites is a gorgeous 14-karat gold bar necklace with 3 rows of diamonds for $885. It's something she can wear day or night. She'll love all that sparkle. Visit our store or check out our online gift guide for memorable holiday gifts that'll be treasured for a lifetime. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila Shots, me, Brent Halverson, and Tommy S. Coach's Tavern. Join us tomorrow, Week 15 picks, and a lot of bourbon sampling going on tomorrow. Coach's Tavern, Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila Shots. Tomorrow, Coach's Tavern at 3.
Get ready, Pacers fans. Nights out are about to hit different.
Holiday off the screen. 6 of them tonight.
When we go out, we're going all out.
Turner the rebound, puts it in.
Because at the end of the day, there's nowhere we'd rather be.
It's the first Pacers Night Out presented by Coors Light on Thursday at 7. Get a ticket to Pacers-Pistons game and receive a limited edition Pacers Coors Light bucket hat and a 20-ounce Coors Light. Tickets start at $15, must be 21 to purchase. Get tickets at Pacers.com/nightout.
Hoops fans celebrate NBA's 75th anniversary season. FanDuel Sportsbook and its JMV here, because right now I'm here to tell you, new customers can place their first bet risk-free. If you don't win, and get up to $1,000 back with FanDuel Sportsbook. I mean, if you love the NBA like I do, if you love hoop, this is it. Hey, for example, tonight, you know the situation with the Pacers on the road against the Bucks? Utilize that if you like, but do it with FanDuel Sportsbook and use the promo code JMV to get your first bet risk-free up to to $1,000 and make every moment more this NBA season. Again, that promo code JMV, 21 plus and present in Indiana. First online real money wager only. Refund issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. The holidays truly are a magical time of the year. That magic comes at a cost. And the unfortunate truth is so much of it ends up on your credit cards. What if I told you that I had the perfect solution? There's never been a better time for a cash out refinance. Lower your monthly payment and get the money you need to pay off those credit cards once and for all. Apply online at thehomeloanexpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Titans Steelers and Packers Ravens in an NFL doubleheader. Sunday at noon on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Look at all those ding-dongs.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Kyle says I got to leave. Like, how quickly? You going to play my stuff right here? 30 seconds? Hey, give me, George, 10 seconds of your best material.
JMV, I'll be quick, buddy. Hey, I'll say this. The Simons have done us a favor by keeping the Pacers in Indiana for as long as they did. Now they need to do Indianapolis a favor and sell the team to somebody who's excited about to be an NBA owner.
George, got to go. I will address that coming up tomorrow. Live from Coaches, Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila Shots. Out with a bang as usual. See you tomorrow.
We've done it again.
While other lenders are talking about raising their rates, our expert team at Golden Oak Lending has dropped rates even lower.
I'm James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak. With the low rate of 1.875% and home values at all-time highs, you can get more cash out of your home or eliminate pricey mortgage insurance.
Call 317-706-GOLD today to get your refinance started within minutes and make no mortgage payments until